Out there. I think I might have started too early. What up, world? Happy Friday to everybody out there. Coop, how you doing, brother?
What is up, man?
Man, more new music, man. Like hip hop has really loaded us up with music this year. 2022 has been action packed, and it's only May. Like you said, it has some resemblance of some prime years in the mid '90s.
Yeah, some 96 vibes. Another quality
96
album
vibes.
another quality album this week in discussing an album of the year contender that we missed.
Yeah, we miss Shay Noir. Shout out to Harry H in the building. Shout out to Michael Sanders in the building. Yes, that new Boldy James. Yes, sir, Harry H. Yes. First off, well, you know what? I don't know if you heard this news, but Prodigy solo projects are now available on streaming platforms. How do you feel about that?
I'm happy for his fan base, and I didn't know that. That made me smile when you said that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. So, yeah, it's up there. So I guess we can stream Keep It Thorough now. And some more things. I mean, this is the thing, man. When it comes to streaming platforms and songs or albums that weren't available, it makes you wonder why, right? And then it makes you wonder if once they are available, is that a good thing? Is that what was wanted? Or what was holding that back? Because we're still waiting on De La Soul. And I thought a deal was reached like 2 years ago for that.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. I want to stream De La Soul is Dead all the time. And even hearing from the group themselves, it sounds like even if you go out and buy the album, you're still not really supporting them.
You just that's been the thing about it. But one thing that you realize is that I don't know, not being able to hear their music, I think the appreciation for their catalog and how truly brilliant their catalog is has grown. And so I think in terms of their legacy, their legend has grown in the hiatus of their music being available. Wouldn't you say?
I don't know. I think the lack of accessibility kind of makes them easier to sweep under the rug too. I think that when it comes to Tribe, if a younger person hears about Tribe, right? If somebody heard us talking about Tribe, they could just go right on the streaming platforms and play the low end theory, right? But when it comes to De La, you can hear people talk about it all the time, but it's not as easily accessible as everything else. So it's easy to kind of look over for people who weren't there. Because they have 4 brilliant albums in a row, in my opinion.
So that's what 3 Feet High is Rising, De La Soul's Dead, Balloon Mind Stakes is High.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Yes, like and share, subscribe, please. You might need to get a little bit closer to the mic, Coop. You sound kind of far away. I want to make sure everybody's hearing everything we're saying. But
I did realize I actually set my platform up a little further away today. And so I think I need to move my platform up and just slide a little bit. There we go.
LP with the super chat says, "What happened to your boy Luca, Mike?" It was a sad day, man. We're gonna see what's going on tonight, man. You know what happened to him? And I want to say this to all the Steph fans. Wiggins went out there and played. Was Wiggins not the MVP of that game? I know they wanted to talk to Steph after the game when Steph got all the points after they were up by 10 or whatever. But Steph went out there 0 for 6 from 3 in the first quarter, first half or whatever, and went out there and missed 3 free throws. Come on, guys. We got to be real now.
Hold on, that was the thing. The 3 free throws.
You went 2 for 5 from free throw in a big game one. The person that showed up minute 1 was Andrew Wiggins. Straight up. And yes, they got cooked. But I heard that Luka got poisoned too.
Hold on, Luka didn't ball so hard either. You know what I mean? Like him and Steph had comparable numbers, and I believe he had more turnovers than Steph, and they both played the same position.
Luka had 18 at the half.
How many did he finish with?
And then he went down in the second half. Like he didn't. Yeah. And that's why it just, turned into something else.
Yeah, and when he went down, they went down. So, yeah, but he went down pretty hard and pretty bad.
I'm just telling y'all, this is what I'm saying.
Maybe 3. When did he finish with 21 or 20?
I think it was 20, 21. I think
That's
it was
very
20.
problematic. It's very
What are you
problematic.
talking about, Steph?
No, I'm talking about Baby Bird. Ain't nobody out here
Oh, what
calling.
did he finish with? I think
Yeah.
Steph finished with 21. Let me see what he finished with real
He
quick.
finished with like 20 though, didn't he?
I'm sure the people in the chat know. I think he finished with, let's see. It was bad. Yeah, he finished with 20. This
Yeah,
is
he
what
did.
I'm going to tell you. And this is what I still don't see different when it comes to Steph. He does not up his play level in playoff games.
No,
He doesn't.
he's not James Harden, but he's definitely not like what Kevin Durant was up until this past series, what LeBron has been, what Mike has
Yeah.
been,
He's
Wade has
another
been,
guy.
what Olajuwon was, Shaq, Kobe, Duncan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just one of the guys, man. And he blends in well, and he does great doing that.
I mean, there's something to be said. Like, even if it's not even that he doesn't up the level, it's that it seems like it actually goes down a level. I think it's the problem. The problem isn't that it doesn't go up, because here's the thing. You can be all-time great and kind of play at your level in the playoffs, and that'd be cool. I'll give you a prime example. Kevin Garnett or Dirk Nowitzki.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They consistently played at the regular season level that they did in the playoffs, but they were all-time great in the regular season. So it's like, if they played all-time great in the playoffs but didn't really up at a level, that was good enough. It seems like he's a level down, and I think that's the part that's...
LP says Steph had 21, 12 rebounds, 6 assists in 3 quarters. LOL. Luka scored 3 points in the second half. My man had 7 turnovers. Wiggins clamped him with the D. He did. And the team D, excuse me. No, Wiggins was taking them one-on-one too. I mean, they did a really good job defensively all around. They were swarming. And as far as those 12 rebounds that Steph got, a lot of those were loose balls, guys. Let's not act like he was down there banging. Come on, man.
12 rebounds is 12 rebounds for a point guard.
It is. I mean, you know what? When you don't have things going, you got to figure out other ways to get involved, right? Like Kobe did that in that Boston game. I want to say it might have been game 6 or whatever, where nothing was going. No, it was game 7, actually, when nothing was going, and he went out there and had 19 rebounds.
Yeah, he went 5 for 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played awful on offense, but he played some defense, and he definitely was on the boards when he realized the shot wasn't working. I mean, he still need Ron Artest to hit a 3 that he usually didn't hit, but it's a whole nother conversation.
King Haya says, I'm curious when you guys are going to review the Galvin albums, starting with her first album From the Art. We have to. You keep talking about these Galvin albums. We have to review that. We're on Chez Noir today. We've been told about Chez Noir's album for weeks and weeks, possibly months. Michael Sanders says, you guys should do a sports podcast. Enjoy you guys, what you guys do. Blessings. I think we should do a segment or something. I don't know. Ryan Gillum says, what up, what up? Have y'all checked out Lupe's new song, Autobot? And you guys are going to review some of his classic albums leading up to his new project. Asking if we're going to review some of his classic albums leading up to his new project. I think we should, because we got a very, very strong Lupe base in here.
We do. It's like, you know what? Like, pun intended, like, it seems like the bass here is like a lyricist lounge bass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Nas, Eminem, Lupe, Kendrick, Thought, like all those guys get a lot of, like, love in these chats. As in, if I say anything like negative about them, I get like stepped all on.
Ryan Gillum on another super chat, he says, do you guys think Kawhi and PG are going to win a championship next year if they stay healthy? No, they won't.
No.
DeCarlo says, speaking of sports, do y'all feel like it's a fifth element of hip-hop? I think that they're one and the same in many different ways. They kind of work hand in hand in a sense where, you out playing ball. Basketball specifically, hip-hop's normally involved. Now, maybe not the other sports as much.
They're first cousins.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, with that being said, who do you think is the best basketball player rapper?
Oh, it's Dame.
Better than Shaq?
Yeah.
He ain't got the records.
He doesn't have the records, but he's got the spit game.
Okay, so are we gonna just totally just ignore that Shaq got the records?
No, I mean we're not going to ignore it, but we're not going to ignore the fact that if you were just to like standing right next to each other, it's not much of a conversation.
Shaq was nice. Shaq was able to, adapt to
Shaq,
whatever style that he needed to. I mean, he made a song with the Foo Sniggins.
no, he did. He made a song with RZA. He made a song with Biggie.
Yeah.
No, Shaq can rap, but how about this? Dame could have a legitimate rap career though. Like, and be.
Is Dame one dimensional?
I don't know if he's had. See, I don't know if he's had the. See, because he's not the personality that Shaq is. I don't know if he's given access to the resources. Like, Shaq was playing a Hollywood game. That's really not Dame's style, and so I don't know if he's been given access to the same resources. It's like, think about this. It's like, it's not like he got average guys. It's like he's doing tracks with RZA and Biggie, like in their prime.
Jay Short says, I know you talked about this heavy last week, but it seems that Kendrick Lamar's album is coming and going in the mainstream media. Moving on already, it seems. Do you think that people have moved on from the Kendrick album? Do you think this album's going to have legs?
I don't question the artistic merit. I question the replay value. So if you're going to tell me that it's going to come and go in terms of people talking about the songs over and over again and the replay value of it, that's not going to surprise me. If you're telling me it's going to leave like the media and the music and the hip hop fodder, then that would surprise me.
Damian Jones says, unpopular opinion, the off-season is better than the new Kendrick album. What do you think about that?
I don't love either one of them, and I think I have them rated about the same because I think I had the off season at a 4.25 too.
I think Kendrick's album's better. The highlights are just bigger, man. And it's one of those things to me where I start thinking about songs like N95, or I keep going back to Silent Hill. It's one of those records that a lot of people don't like, but a lot of people love. I love the record.
See, but there are too many records on that album like that. At least on, like, okay, this is what I mean about connecting. The stuff on J. Cole's album on the off season that you like, well, everybody likes Let Go My Hand and Pride is the Devil.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, we're not having no discussion or back and forth about it's dope or what it was, the freestyle that he did. We're not having conversations about whether those records were dope or not, though, Mike. You feel me? So when people say the off season is better, it's like, well, you don't question the dope tracks on here the way you do question the Kendrick album. I'll tell you something, like it was good to not have to literally spend like dedicate my time to rating an album. Like when I mean dedicate my time, it's like rating Kendrick's albums. I literally had to dedicate like 3 or 4 or 5 days of my life to it. It was good to listen to 2 albums today and be able to just listen to them 2-3 times a piece and just rate them. There's something to be said for that. That's all I keep saying is it's like there's nothing wrong.
We shouldn't have to try so hard, right?
Right. When you go to the Louvre and you see the Mona Lisa, you have to understand that it's like, well, there's a whole art gallery there. And there's another art gallery right up the street that actually got more like replay value with the art outside of that one painting. And so like, I'd rather go to the Orsay than to the Louvre. And that's all I'm saying is it's like, no, it's beautiful. Take me up the street where all the excitement's at.
LP says Brambleton is better than everything on the K-Dot album. Damn.
I told you Brambleton might be song of the year, but I mean.
Ryan Gillum says, do you guys have any favorite hip-hop rock albums? My favorite is Limp Bizkit's first 2 albums. Not Limp Bizkit. Oh, man. We're going back. Rock rap albums, do the Beastie Boys count? I was going to say check my head, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, License to Ill would fall in that framework.
You think so? Okay, I guess so. Yeah, if License to Ill falls in it, it's License to Ill all day.
You got to think about it. You got to think about it from the hip-hop perspective of using rock and roll, not the rock and roll perspective of using hip-hop. I mean, we're doing hip-hop, so I'm going to work on the hip-hop side of it and work outward. I'm going to work inward then outward, yeah.
And I guess nerd and all that doesn't count either because that's not really hip-hop per se. Bob T says Steph has a higher PPG. I'm sorry. Higher point per game finals than Kobe, Wade, and Bird. But according to you guys, Steph doesn't live up to the playoffs. Live up to the level in the playoffs. Sorry, tongue tied. Listen, it's different, man. A lot of these stats that you guys are talking about, a garbage minute stats. And when you got Durant on your team and you're probably blowing people out, he's probably just running the score up. It's like that's when you got to rely on the eye test and what you see. Forget the points per game. Where are the heroics? And I
Well,
bet you he doesn't have more finals heroics or playoff heroics than Kobe, Wade, or Bird.
well, I was about to say, it's like, well, I bet you like he has more than like Elijah one. Okay, so it's like averaging more points doesn't mean you came through when it mattered most. It's like
Right.
Dwayne Wade had one finals appearance where he literally in 4 straight games averaged about 38 points. And like we've never seen Steph do anything.
And all those
like
people he named, they have finals MVPs on their belt.
they
So what's
do.
the problem?
They do actually in Bird and in Kobe's case multiples.
Multiple in spades.
Right.
Yeah.
In spades. And rings in spades. And in Kobe's case more rings than him. And also too, like with Wade's point per game average, understand that like his average before those last 2 finals appearances is right where Steph's was at. So like that's some age and attrition right there. With Bird, people have to understand the first final Bird played in was his, I believe, second year. Or it was either, hold on. Yeah, it was his second year because Magic won his first year and he averaged 11 points. The other finals, he pretty much averaged what he, would average. And in Kobe's case, didn't Kobe play in 8 finals?
Yeah.
Let me know what Steph's average looks like after he's played in 8 finals.
LP says it's a piece. What he said? It's a piece I only need to see once. Yes. Talking about art. Jay Short with the super chat says, I can't remember one iconic Curry playoff moment. Me neither, sir. But again, he's still in the prime of his career. I guess we would say he hadn't hit a cliff or anything. So maybe we'll get those moments. If we're going to get those moments, this year would be a good year to get them, right?
How about this? Here's what I will tell you. In order for them to win the championship this year, he's going to have those moments because I'm going to tell you what. He's, by legend, the best player left in the playoffs, and he needs to play like it for his team to win because technically he has the best team left and he's the best player and they have the most experience. And so anything less than him winning right now because of who's left would be coming up small to me in my estimation because you can't, I mean.
Hold on one second. Keep going.
Like, look at who Durant's lost to. Like, Durant was lost to, like, LeBron and got hurt. You know what I mean? Isaiah lost to Bird in the Eastern Conference Finals and lost to Magic. It's like you can't lose to Luka. You can't lose to Jimmy Butler. You can't lose to Jason Tatum. You know what I mean? Like, you can't lose to those guys and be held in the category that you're in. Not right now. Not at this stage. Not when you got Clay and Draymond and Jordan Poole and Curry's your coach and y'all have had this system and this legacy and you've already been to 5 finals. Like,
y'all see how Jimmy Butler's playing right now, right? Y'all telling me that Steph is upping his level to that?
No.
Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, with the legend that everybody gives Steph, I think we all would say that Steph's a greater player than Jimmy Butler, right? So what's the issue?
Well, he's going to have to play like it in order for them to win the championship is what I'm saying.
But he's going to have to play like it to get considered with some of the all-time greats who actually did play like that whenever they were in those situations.
Well, here's where you are correct about him. He has played in 5 finals, and I don't care what anybody has said. He is yet to play in any of those 5 finals like the clearly all-time great and best player on this team.
Oh, straight up.
Straight up. He is not. Like, he is not. I mean, like Kevin Durant, for obvious reasons, for what, 2 or 3 of those finals? But the first finals, well, he didn't play like the best player necessarily. He averaged 24 points, and he might have been the best player, but it's like, like when you play in a manner that make people think that the best player on the other team deserves MVP, you haven't played well enough as the best player on your team.
Well, the thing that messed him up in that series is obviously, Kyrie went down, and then Dellavedova jumps in. Nobody's even heard of Dellavedova. And Dellavedova's out there busting his ass for the first 2 games. Now, granted, he recovered.
For 2 games.
Huh? No, but I'm just saying, that should have never happened anyway. You know what I'm saying? You're an all-time great player. Even in that one series where Tyronn Lue did what he did to Iverson, that was one play. Iverson busted his ass the rest of that game. Man Nan with the super chat says Curry was always carried in the finals by others. I think this is what I will say. And Curry's great. I don't think there's anybody who's camouflaged by the greatness around him in a way that people don't recognize it clearly like Curry has been. And it's not like he went and teamed up, and I think that's the thing too, because we're in an era where a lot of people team up and develop super teams. They organically develop their super team for the most part. And so it's like you don't even realize how much help he has. I mean, even when you look at how Wiggins was able to step up, even though Jordan Poole didn't have it going the other night. Steph didn't have it going the other night. Clay didn't have it going the other night. But Looney and Wiggins were able to carry the load. They got players, man.
No, hey, real talk. I think I think we're gonna look back on like Durant leaving as like one of the most foolish things that ever happened, like to both of them, because it's like, man, like wasn't nobody about to beat y'all?
No,
like period, like period.
But
like,
Durant was gonna have to.
They could have went on a legit modern day Boston Celtics type of run where it's like they would have won so many rings. It wouldn't have mattered who you said was the best player or the front runner of that team. Like Steph would have eventually got some of those MVPs in. It's like Bill Russell won 11 rings. He didn't win like 11 like MVP awards. You know what I'm saying?
Jay Short says Curry is the greatest front runner in NBA history. Nas the GOAT says in Steph's career in the postseason, he's averaged 26 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. 40% from three, 45% from the field, and 90% from the free throw line.
That's lower. What do you want? He does. Like that's lower from the three and from the field, and technically he's usually considered to be about the greatest free throw shooter of all time, so closer to 92, 93% typically. So like he's not putting up at the same level.
We're gonna get to some hip hop, I promise, guys. But this is a good discussion.
But you're making our point for us. It's like it's good.
Mad Max says, Mike better respect Steph. Luka just a white Paul Pierce with Steve Nash vision. And you acting like he was going to beat the Warriors. Listen, man, we're only one game in. Y'all might want to relax. Because he walked out of that game one smiling like the Shining, man. LP with the super chat says, Durant got swept with Kyrie. He's never going to get over that. Harden bounced with Embiid. CP3 lost with Booker. Westbrook missed the playoffs with LeBron. Y'all tripping. Those are all great points. But I think that the thing is, when it comes to Golden State, they have a foundation. They have guys who played together for a long time. They actually drafted young pieces in that fit in with the culture as opposed to just trying to snap in new pieces. Brooklyn doesn't have a coach. Kyrie already told you they didn't need a coach.
No, yes,
sir. Chris Paul and Booker, I mean, let's just keep it real. They just choked, collapsed on an astronomical level. Chris Paul has been known to do that over his career, and I say that respectfully. Harden and Embiid, they just got together, and Harden's a choke artist too. Let's just be real.
I mean, first of all, Harden's whack. Like he shouldn't even be in this conversation. He's whack. I want people to understand this is like, okay, so Steph has played great in the finals. But when you watch Steph play great in the finals, he's been playing in the finals while LeBron and Durant have been on the court. And so here's what it's looked like. Top 2 or 3 player on the court. Top 5 to 10 player on the court. Top 20 player on the court. Because that's what his game looks like when he plays all-time great versus all-time great players look on the court. So it's not like he's not all-time great in the finals, but Durant and LeBron have been on the floor. So he's been the third best player on the floor.
Kyrie outplayed him in that Cleveland series.
That was abbreviated, so we don't even have to go to that. We can just go to the LeBron and Durant thing. It's like, have you not been the third best player on the floor in all these finals where all 3 of y'all were on the floor? Correct.
Mad Max with the super chat, he says, LOL, Steph's first NBA Finals appearance, everybody acted like he was so bad, and he was a better performer than LeBron in the first 2 final appearances. Well, he had a much better team than LeBron had in his first couple finals. I mean, that team that LeBron took to the finals against the Spurs, that's one of the worst teams, if not the worst team I've ever seen in the NBA Finals. And you're going against the San Antonio Spurs, you're not even going to be able to. No.
Hold on. No, this is what I'm talking about. The measure of expectations are even different. Do you remember when Durant lost in the finals to LeBron in Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
He averaged 30 points a game on 50% shooting from the floor and 90% from the line, and people were talking about he played bad.
It's kind of
Curry's
like when
not even
Shaq went up
average. Hold
against
on. Has
Olajuwon.
Curry averaged 30 in any of the 5 finals he's played in?
I don't think so.
They were saying Durant played bad, averaging 30 and shooting from 50% because he's all time in a different stratosphere than Steph in terms of how he's looked at.
He is.
Facts.
Bob T with the super chat says Steph's iconic moment was Game 5 in the 2015 when Steph scored 17 points in the fourth quarter in a closeout game. Golden State would have gotten swept in 15 without Steph. I guess in 5 without Steph. The Carlo with the super chat says Curry is the second greatest player of this era, Mike. Is he?
It's blasphemous.
Is he? Listen, I'll put it like this, man. Like, if we're talking about a blanket draft right now, of all the guys that are in the league right now, in their prime, I don't know if you guys are picking Steph in the top 5.
Classify prime by age bracket.
Okay, if we talking about, like, let's just say everybody who's in the league right now, LeBron's still in the league, right? But you're able to have LeBron at his height. That's your number 1 pick, right? You're able to have Durant at his height. That's probably your number 2 pick.
To pick the prime version of the player?
Oh, everybody who's currently in the league. He's probably not even going to be the top 5 pick, guys.
No, he might be the 5th pick.
Will he?
Yeah, because you would take in this order, I would think, and then you would have consideration for him for 5. You're going to go LeBron, Durant, Giannis, Kawhi, and then he's in the conversation after that, wouldn't you say?
I'm picking Embiid over him.
Nah, Embiid can't stay healthier. He hasn't came through.
Okay.
Yeah. No. He got no MVPs. He got no finals. He got no health issues.
I think it's his health issues, but I mean, as far as like...
Then how can we say that we would take him in his prime when he's had health issues in his prime and he got no MVPs, no final appearances, no rings?
That's fair.
Yeah.
He might be number 5. I'm taking Kawhi over Steph.
We already had him. Yeah, that's why I said, though. Yeah. Giannis, Kawhi, Durant, LeBron. That's what I'm saying. After that, no, Curry might be 5 because he's definitely better than Kyrie and Harden and Westbrook.
Are you taking him over Dwight Howard in his prime? Or Carmelo in his prime?
Yes.
I'm not.
No,
I'm taking Melo over Steph. I'm sorry.
Carmelo has not led a team anywhere. Like he's not that great. Like he's not on a Steph Curry level in terms of all-time player. You're talking about a top 50 player.
Do you think that Carmelo has played on teams that are at the level of Steph's team?
How about this? I mean,
as a pure talent, I'm picking Carmelo.
But he's been a lot of the reason for that.
Has he?
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks had a team, and then they traded the team to get him.
But that's not his fault. Yeah, it's not like he went in there with guys and he ran the guys off.
Ron and Durant have shown us that, like, in your prime, no, you can call your shots. It's like, oh, we won Harden. It's like, no, get him to leave. No, get that guy. That guy's coming with me, or this guy stay. No, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Jay Short says, I'm calling out the Warriors fans. There will be all Laker jerseys in the Bay till 2015. Y'all can fool everyone else, not Cali. Y'all didn't like Curry out here. LP with Super Chat says, nobody makes his team better without the ball than Steph. Now, I will say that. He's in the system. He's spacing and lets others get off. Want culture? Steph. Steph is a culture setter. I will give him that.
That's what I mean about Steph and Durant were perfect together. It's like, well, Durant wanted his own team. It's like, no. You didn't necessarily need your own team. Steph is the perfect culture guy because Steph is going to let you be Kevin Durant. Well, Kevin Durant's a top 10 all-time player. You're not going to play with another player of Steph's caliber that's going to let you get off like this because what happened with Kyrie and Westbrook?
You picking Steph over Chris Paul?
I have to, even though I don't want to.
You picking Steph over Kyrie?
Hell yeah.
I shouldn't even ask you that.
I'm a Duke fan. Kyrie is a buster. When are people going to understand that he is a mark-ass buster? He's selfish from day one. No. He was selfish from day one. Like, he ruined Duke's NCAA tournament chances by coming back so he could showcase his talents on the court. He played in 13 games, got hurt, and came back and ruined our chemistry in a tournament game where we could have beaten that team without him. He's been selfish from day one. He just hurt Durant's legacy. Durant should be playing for the New York Knicks right now. And the Knicks would actually be viable because they actually have ancillary pieces that go with the type of player that Kevin Durant is. Kyrie is a buster.
Y'all
Okay?
wanted us to talk sports.
They
Well, here it
are
is.
buster.
Here's our sports episode.
He's hold on. People keep talking about like him like he's all time great. He's made NBA third team 3 times in 11 years. And you're asking me if he's better than Steph, a 2-time MVP and 3-time champion?
Well, he did. Let's be real though. When he did match up with Steph in the finals, he outplayed him. He outplayed him.
He's a team killer.
It is what it is. All right. And somebody in the chat said Melo should have won Rookie of the Year. Yeah, I agree.
The Boston Celtics are without Kyrie as their point guard, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Happy birthday to Busta Rhymes, by the way.
Same team. Same damn team.
Happy 50th birthday to Busta Rhymes, man. We just got through talking about Busta Rhymes and his legacy, and we were talking about some of the top MCs all time. Would you say Busta's more of a top 15, top 20-ish, or?
Yeah, I think he would probably most fairly be put in the conversation between the 15 to 25 area, which is, I think, some of the discourse that we had last week when discussing like Kendrick and where we would place him, which would be probably like 11, 12, 13-ish. I think Busta would fall into the tier right after we would get done with some of those guys right there. But if you had him higher, I wouldn't argue with you. If like somebody has like Busta higher than Kendrick, it's like, no, there's some evidence and reason to feel that way, but I would have him respectfully somewhere 15 to 25.
Do you think he has possibly the best feature game in hip hop?
Definitely the most entertaining feature game.
I know when he first hit the scene or early on in his career, he was a scene stealer no matter like who was on the record.
That's what I was about to say. I don't think there's been an artist, like there may be guys that have better performances, but nobody has stolen as many scenes on hip hop records or even R&B records the way Busta Rhymes has. Like he has them in spades in different eras, like from Look at Me Now with Chris Brown. I mean, think about it, like that's prime Lil Wayne on there.
I mean, you got Biggie in his prime. He steals the scene on Flavor in Your Ear at the end. Yeah. Get 'Em High with Meth, LL, and even that. You remember the Vibin' remix that Busta Rhymes did when they was in the boxing ring and all that?
I got it.
I think that I think that is the one time that somebody might have stole the scene over Busta, because Method Man's last verse was insane.
I was actually about to say that's one of the more underrated posse cuts ever. Treach came through on there too. Treach started it off. Treach set it off.
Yeah. No, Greg Mack came through too.
Yeah, no. Meth is the scene stealer on there, but Busta's right there with the Meth. Just has the better verse. That's prime Meth.
I mean, you got Old Dirty and Busta in the boxing corner hyping each other up. It gets no better than that.
No, it doesn't get better than that. What else was I thinking about? Victory.
Oh yeah. I love Meth's verse, man, on that Vibin', man. I mentally stab your brain with the pain. When others niggas spit game, I spit flames. Woo! I'm gonna have to listen to that off after we get off air, man.
Can I tell you something? I actually downloaded that song about 3 weeks ago because I heard it on a playlist and it made me download it. So I actually been listening to the Vibin' remix lately. The Boyz II Men record, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing that.
But yeah, Busta back then, man, he used to like just. I don't know if it was just coming off the momentum of the scenario, video, or or song in general, which really opened the door for like the Busta Rhymes that we know today. But he was just a total like character on these videos and remixes, like kicking down the door, just hungry. The definition of hungry.
So this is okay. So if you want to reference like Most Def's Hunger on Black Star's No Fear in Time to like the hunger that Busta Rhymes brings to it, like understandable. You get what I'm saying? But also it's what Busta does. That's what I mean. It's like, well, he's he's the best scene stealer ever in rap.
He's a one of one. I think he might be the best. I think the 3 best live performers as soloists are, KRS, Big Daddy Kane, and him. Shout out to 007 with a $50 super chat showing love over here real quick. Let me get to what you got to say. He said, it's my 36th birthday. I get to the show when I can. Kind of hard. I'm an investment banker. I let the Kendrick album marinate. And here's the problem. It's actually the album you drop after the album you're supposed to drop comes back from a 5-year hiatus.
Hold on.
Let me read that sentence again. He said, it's actually the album you dropped after the album you're supposed to drop coming back from a 5-year hiatus. I agree with that. Happy birthday to you, 007 out there. Shout out to all the investment bankers that are in chat as well. Go ahead, Cool. What were you going to say?
No, I don't know if you remember this because it happened to be your birthday. But one of the first comments that I made about this album before we left was, why didn't he call Dr. Dre first and then go make an album like this? So I'm right there with 007 because this album would have played so much better to the audience, in my opinion, if he just would have given us our hip hop fix first and then went and did this. So like spot on for 007. I echo those sentiments totally. Happy 36. And, keep a brother up to date with these Google splits and some of this other stuff going on.
Yeah, we're gonna holler at you offline.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you a line, player. We need to talk.
You know what? It's crazy, man. I do understand, and I feel that, and I think I said that originally, where it was like, this is a dope album, but it doesn't take a 5-year break to put out an album like this. You know, maybe it did for him as far as like a life living thing. And so maybe that's the only excuse that I'm giving him, because maybe he wouldn't have been able to express these experiences 2 years ago, right? I think even the family building and him building a family kind of gave you a window into, okay, why the 5-year hiatus?
No, it's different when you have kids. Mm-hmm. It's different. I was just, other podcasts that I do, both me and Andrew were talking about how, like, well, you miss hip hop for a little bit when, like, your kid's born, or just music in general, like for about a year and a half at least, because, you know, you had a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had a pandemic to deal with, too. I mean, we all did, but, you know.
No. I'm sorry. Like, rich and wealthy people didn't have shit to deal with in a pandemic. Next. Yeah, ain't nobody trying to hear that. That's
Shout out to Mad Max with the super chat. He says, excuses, Braun. In his second appearance, he's talking about the finals. Excuses. Braun in his second appearance had a super team and had the biggest choke against the Mavs, getting cooked by Jason Terry and locked by J.J. Barrett. Steph never went out that bad. Now, all right. This is what I want to say about this Mavericks and Heat finals. The first time that the Heat made it to the finals. They pieced that team together, that Heat team. All they had was really that starting lineup. That Mavericks team, and you could go back to my Facebook. I'll save the screenshot. I said it before the series started. I said, I got the Mavs in this series. They were 2 deep in every position. In some of the positions, 3 deep. They had bodies to throw on them. They had a lot of people on that team, bro. Like, they had a whole starting lineup. They were big with Chandler at center. They had Dirk, obviously. They had Jason Kidd, Jason Terry, J.J. Barea. They had Peja Stojakovic. I want to say they had like Turkoglu. They had a whole bunch of folks on that team. And after a while, 3 people just aren't going to beat that many skilled individuals. It's just not going to happen. And that same team beat up on the Lakers, too. That was another thing that made me be like, yo, this team is deep.
First of all, they're not like that team. They had a squad. I'm going to... That is going to be forever the knock on LeBron's legacy, because I actually hate to be the one to break it to you, Mike. Those 3 guys actually could have beat those Mavericks team, and only 2 of those 3 guys showed up. And unfortunately, the one guy who didn't show up was the guy who needed to show up the most when it mattered the most. Because if you actually go back and look at those finals, no, Bosh and Wade actually did what they were supposed to do for like who they were. Like Wade averaged like almost 28 points a game in that finals. I think people forget that he like actually like played great in that finals because they kept on losing. But it wasn't his team at that point, and it was like LeBron didn't know what to do in that moment. And you know, it's just it's really sad. It's his fault. Those 3 guys actually could have beat them. If he does what he's supposed to do, they win that finals. Because like Wade and Bosh did their job. No. It's cool. We're gonna get back to the rap shit though. What do y'all want to cover first? The Che Noir or the Boldy? Yeah, Prime Wade is a savage. How about this? I think the Harden and Wade talk is over, isn't it? We over this Harden Wade talk, right? Like we're clear that it's like Mike, Kobe, Wade. In fact, we can go Jerry West. We're putting Harden down to 5, putting the logo ahead of you. You haven't won.
Well, hold on. I want to go back to Busta Rhymes real quick. I know we kind of got off course a little bit, and then we'll go into the Che
Noir. Like Prime Wade was a savage. It's like damn right he was going to end all this like Harden and Wade talk. Slide you right back down to 5 or 6 where you belong on the shooting guard scale. Goes Mike, Kobe, Wade.
Mike, Kobe, Wade. Okay. Wade was pretty great, I must admit. Jay Short says that I feel like Kendrick needs to drop a Gangsta Grill mixtape, Black Hippie next year, or risk losing a lot of his hip hop audience. Okay.
You understand that people thought Nas sold out when he made It Was Written after Illmatic. Like that's how the climate used to be for you as an artist, where it's like, no, you couldn't take these kind of risks. That's why I said he has the type of creative license that we've never seen before. Because other great artists weren't allowed to like pivot like this, like ever.
He has the creative license that Steph has from the 3-point line.
Yes.
He has a green light to do whatever, and people will accept it.
Yes. He has the green light that happens like when you're the point guard for a team and Mike D'Antoni is your coach. It's like you can do whatever you want.
You can shoot wherever you want from.
Yeah, you can do it in 3 seconds if you feel like you dribble, shoot. You like that? That was from 70 feet away. It's a good shot. Get back on me.
Well, this is the thing. I know I was looking through some of the comments from our episode Wednesday where we named 11 MCs that we put ahead of Kendrick. And there were a few people that didn't agree with some of the people we had on the list. And honestly, I knew that the LL thing was going to be an issue for people.
It need not be.
Well, it is. And I agree with this whole Gangsta Grill notion, or, bring it back to this hip-hop shit notion, because at the end of the day, I'm pulling up the list right now. I think that from the people that we named, and I'm just going to this is just my perspective. I don't agree with this specifically, but from the people that we named Tupac, Biggie, Nas, Jay, Rakim, Ice Cube, Ghostface, Scarface, KRS-One, LL, and Common. I think from a mainstream level, people are going to say that Kendrick's better than Common. People are going to say Kendrick's better than LL, KRS, Scarface, and Ghostface. And Ice Cube. Which will put him at 6.
Okay. But what I keep saying is that, well,
hipster bias is what LP says. Kendrick's taking Tyler and Kanye's hipster fan base.
Here's going to be my rebuttal to that is that, okay, now you're right. But isn't he in this conversation about his album making ability?
Yeah.
And we're about to slide him right back down behind those people because he fell behind those people because they make better songs and we're starting to find out albums. Like, you want to know what was striking to me that I forgot about? Like, there's no way that you can put him ahead of KRS-One when I just read that BDP discography and the solo discography. No. Whatever you feel about how great his discography is, right, whatever you feel about Kendrick's discography, you cannot look at KRS-One's discography and tell me that Kendrick has a better discography. No.
KRS got that versatility, too.
You can't look at Scarface's discography and tell me that Kendrick has a better discography, or Ghostface, or Ice Cube. And so if the best thing that he does, we have other guys who do it better, and what you're giving me is that he's a mainstream artist, I'm like, oh, these guys got more hits than him too, even though he is the bigger mainstream artist. He's just more popular. Being more popular doesn't make you better than these guys. It just makes you more popular.
You don't think he can out-rap these guys?
I think Lupe can out-rap all these guys, and he's not in this conversation.
Okay. That's a fair point. Bob T says, Mike and Coop, y'all need to start a sports channel. 007 with the super chat, he says, he needs a Flame Spitter album. Destroy everyone. He does.
He doesn't have that in him. Don't you realize that? We would have seen that type of killer in him by now. That's what I mean. That's why I was like, no.
But that's what he sold us on the Control verse.
That's what I keep trying to say is that we kind of been sold a dream because we kind of got sold like he was like the new microphone fiend, like in the vein of like a Rakim, a Nas, a Black Thought, a Cannabis, a Big Fun, a Big Pun. No, he's not that. There's none of that going on. Have you heard Black Thought on No Gold Teeth?
Black Thought's a problem. And honestly, if we wanna sit here and judge people's all-time greatness on microphone spitting ability, this guy should jump ahead of a few people.
I mean, if we're
gonna talk it like that, you know what I'm saying?
We're talking spitting ability.
Yeah.
He's stubborn.
Because let's be real, and I love LL Cool J, and you know how I feel about LL Cool J. I think that his legacy gets slept on all the time. He gets overlooked. I even read some articles where people were talking about Eminem's going to be the second solo rapper alive to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, they just don't even consider LL, which is so disrespectful. But with all that being said, if you ask me who's the better rapper or MC between Black Thought and LL Cool J, I can't sit here and say that LL Cool J is going to out-rap Black Thought. I just can't do that with a clear conscience.
It's not a conversation.
It's not. And I don't even want to single out LL. If you do the same thing when it comes to, say, Jigga and Nas. If we're sitting there at a table, and Method Man was my favorite rapper growing up.
I was about to say Method Man.
No. I seen them sitting there together on Sway, and I knew it wasn't going to be good for my man Meth. And I'm a Method Man fan to the heart. I'm a way bigger Method Man fan than I am a Black Thought fan. But I just knew, like, yo, he can't outspit this guy. I don't think there's anybody walking right now that could outspit Black Thought. And I'm just being honest.
I'm going to keep on saying this. That Method Man Black Thought cipher is an example of what a top 10-ish all-time MC looks like and what the guy who can hold the number one position looks like. That's what it looks like.
I personally think Black Thought would have done that to anybody, though, Coop. I think anybody who's not named Rakim.
No, that's what I mean. No, Meth is a top 10 type of MC. That's what it looks like when you're a number one type of MC.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's number one all-time MCing type of stuff that he does. And as far as like that rapidy rap stuff going, yes, like Rakim would probably be the place to go because he lyrically is on par with what the standard would be more than Nas is. Nas veers off the standard more. Like what you're hearing Nas do on Magic, he hasn't done in a very long time. Like Godson's Stillmatic, okay?
Right.
So what makes King's Disease 2 great, and what makes Life is Good great, isn't about the lyricism necessarily. The lyricism is accentuated, not the focal point. When Black Thought's coming through, the lyricism is the focal point a la Rakim, even on the Roots album. And I was even thinking, I wasn't even how certain about putting Kendrick ahead of Thought just when I think about how classic the Roots shit is. Because it's like, I'm thinking like, no, the Roots got as many classics as Kendrick got, and he's the front man. And I know he can out-rap Kendrick. I ain't even worried about that.
Ryan Gillum with the Super Chat said Kendrick needs a 5-track EP produced by The Alchemist called Smoking on Your Top 5. Since he want to talk about smoking on your top 5. I think that's a good idea.
I like that idea.
I know Kendrick's probably watching the show, or some of his people are probably watching the show. I think it's a good idea.
I mean, Apple's probably going to steal it and make it for him anyway.
Mad Max with the Super Chat says, LOL, people do gas K-Dot. His accolades overall is the same as Drake and Cole. Drake has all the hits accolades, while Kendrick's albums. Cole has the features and the verses. They all do their own individual things. You know, I think in the next era, we're going to have a Voltron MC that comes and does all of those things.
We've already had those MCs. That's why
we've had those.
High.
Yeah.
We've had those. That's what I'm saying. That's why those guys aren't as high as maybe you think they should be. It's because, we got that already.
Yeah. Mannan says KRS has 20 albums. Is 20 albums deep. Leader, teacher, scholar, bars. It's very tough for me. Like, I can't even put Black Thought ahead of KRS.
No, not
I can't do it.
Like, I was when we started going through KRS's stuff, I was actually thinking it's like Why do I have Ghostface, Scarface, and Ice Cube ahead of KRS?
I don't. I like them better. That's my
I'm like,
personal
no,
preference.
that's what
But
I
yeah,
mean.
if we're talking about really breaking it down, nah.
Right. And so, like, when I thought about it, it's like, no, I got KRS at 9. It's like, no, I need to slide Ghost and Scarface and Cube back down. You feel me? And
Yeah.
put him like at like 6, right after like Pac and Big and Jay, like right after Jay. I would have to put him right after Jay. So
I
KRS
mean,
One
I'm
would
gonna
actually
be
be
truthfully
6.
honest, Coop. I would slide Big back, to be honest.
I'm
And you
cool
know, how,
sliding.
I mean, just based on the catalog, you know what I mean? I just have to.
I'm cool if you want to slide Big back, but I'm not sliding him out of the top 10 because I thought about that too. Because at least Tupac has enough catalog to be in the top 5 conversation.
Yeah, I can't sit here and say that I'm gonna put Big over KRS. It's hard to
But
say.
it's just like Biggie's better than all of these guys except lyrically, like at
No, I know.
everything.
And listen, and like you
Problem.
said last show, if Big would have lived and been on this same trajectory, he would have been the greatest rapper ever.
It's not even a conversation. It's not a conversation.
I think Tupac is the conversation, and Nas, obviously, you know, and Jay. Well, see, the thing is, I'll get into the Jay thing in a second. 007 with another super chat. He says, "We are past the point of saying that Kendrick is a rapper. He's an artist. If you know what I mean, he shifts the culture, creates great projects, but he's not the one." All those compliments and said he's not the one. He shifts the culture. How does Kendrick actually shift the culture? Or does Kendrick shift the culture for the week that he drops and then everybody kind of goes back to what they're doing?
No, I think he's had a pulse on the culture at an important time where nobody else in the hip hop realm really did outside of him and Cole. And so he stuck to people because of that. But that was 5 years ago. How is it sticking to you now? I'm not saying that like in a shady way. Like I'm saying that in a formulating a question that I really don't have a clear-cut answer to myself.
Big over LL?
Yeah.
Now, I've always said about that one, it was very tough for me to do because of just the catalog and the depth of LL's catalog and how early he came on and how groundbreaking he was early on in the primitive culture, in the primitive genre, rather. And he kept going and did it over decade. And I don't have any doubt that Big would have been able to do that, but he didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? I can't give points to something that never happened.
No, I get it. Biggie's the best song maker ever in hip hop history. I want people to understand that.
Like, you think so? Better than Pac?
Yeah, so like LL can be a better hit maker, but nobody's been a better song maker than Biggie. Not a better song maker, not song for song.
What are your examples?
Huh?
What are your examples on that?
I mean, okay, so my examples are okay, so let's go to the beginning of Ready to Die. Like, Things Done Change, Gimme the Loot, Machine Gun Funk, Warning. They all make you feel different things at different times without him going into depth because his quality of song making is so strong, even early on. He hasn't even like hit you heavy yet. He's kind of like hitting you with little jabs on Things Done Change. Gimme the Loot is probably one of the most underrated mic performances ever on the mic. Like, nobody talks about the mic performance on Gimme the Loot. That's a brilliant mic performance that he's giving off. He's literally doing a heist in dual voices. Literally, you know?
This is kind of what I'm taking from what you're saying.
No, LL can't do that. LL can't do
No, you're right. This is what I'm taking from what you're saying. Big could do what Scarface was doing. Yeah. Big could do what LL was doing. Tupac. Big could do what Tupac was doing. Big could do what DMX was doing, even though DMX is after him. But Give Me the Loot is some, stop being greedy. Like, Big could do everything.
Right.
And obviously, Big could do what Jay-Z was doing because Jay-Z ended up doing what Big was doing.
Right. The only thing that Big couldn't do was that stuff that like Rakim does on Follow the Leader or that like Nas does on Verbal Intercourse. That's the only thing he couldn't do.
He hadn't shown us that he could do. I think he had it in him.
Because here's the thing, man. He's starting to trend towards that. If you start listening to Life After Death, you start hearing some stuff, and even some of the word usage could change. Like, go listen to My Downfall. The verbiage is starting to get higher level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's becoming a better writer.
He's becoming, well, he was already there as a writer, but the words that the writer is using is starting to match the, you know what I mean?
Well, the
It's like,
thing is, man, with
wow.
him, I can honestly say, man, I don't think there's anybody that got that much better from album one to album two, especially when they were already really great on the first album. Like that jump from Ready to Die and Life After Death is crazy, and all the work in between too.
I mean, I don't think anybody went from. I know people thought that he was the best, but you're right when you say that from that perspective, because it's like, well, you can't listen to Ready to Die and think that that guy's the best rapper of all time.
As
But you can
crazy as it
listen to.
sounds, there's
Hold
a
on, but you can listen to Life After Death and feel that way. Be like, no, that's the best rapper I ever heard. You can feel that way
right.
after listening to Life After Death, and it's viable. And so, in terms of the jump in that regard, yeah, because I don't think there's any. Because here's the thing: Nas makes you feel that way on his first album, like,
And he
you know
ups
what
the
I'm saying?
ante on the next one.
Right, like Big makes you feel that way on the second album. Like, the best rapper I ever heard on his second album, not his first.
Jevin
Yeah.
June says, "What are your thoughts on the cult of personality and how it affects people's perception of the music?" What are your
So
thoughts on the cult of personality and how it affects people's perception of the music?
the culture. What are your thoughts on the culture? They're gonna have to.
Explain that a little bit more, and we'll get to that.
They're gonna have to expound upon of that for us to.
Jay Short says, "Why can't you be an artist and a rapper?" Yeah, for the people who are saying that Kendrick's an artist, not a rapper.
No, yeah, no, you can be an artist, but if you're in hip hop, you just need to be rapping and checking those boxes first, like I told you.
007 says, Pac makes you feel, Big makes you move. Two different MCs. You know, also, when it comes to that whole artist MC thing, you know, I think, did that start with Andre 3000, you feel? Where it was like, you know what, I don't want to rap anymore. Like, was that the first time that we saw like a MC that we all thought was a great MC that says, you know what, I'm bored with this rap shit?
Yes. Well, no, I mean, see, that was the thing. Is it's like, well, the way that some of our great MCs kind of faded on us in the early '90s was maybe the start of that, but they never said it. So Andre is probably the first rapper of that stature in terms of how he's viewed for the quality of MCing that he provides, where the people are like, you don't want to rap.
Exactly.
Huh? Yeah.
No one had ever said that. Lauren wasn't even saying that. Lauren was rapping on her album. She just happened to be a gifted singer as well, and leaned towards that. But she rapped a lot on that album.
She's rapping. She is rapping at a supreme level on the Miseducation
and on the Carnival, Wyclef solo album.
Carnival, not at a regular level, like at a top 5 Dead or Alive level.
LP says Pac was a better writer, deeper content, and relatable.
Better writer, not better songmaker, though.
Mad Max says K-Dot don't shift the culture. He makes people have conversations, but Kendrick never changed the sound of music. Illmatic shift the culture. Everybody copied it. That's kind of where I'm at, Mad Max. I'm like, okay, I think that he gets people talking like he did with the Control verse. But when did Kendrick drop, even with Good Kid, Mad City? And it's like, yo, I got to change the way I'm doing shit.
No, you're right. Hold on. How many baby Kendricks we got running around right now? Because Good Kid, Mad City
Baby Keem.
Huh?
Baby Keem.
That he's not related
to. What's the other guy from Cali? Y'all know who I'm talking about. He won that rap competition show that Cardi B, T.I., and Chance were judges on. I think his name is he's from Cali too. But yeah, he sounds a little bit like Kendrick. But yeah, you're right. Not a lot of little Kendricks running out there. I mean, honestly, Drake might have more impact in that facet. Drake and Future.
Well, how can you say that when Drake exists because 808s exists because of Kanye?
Well, you know, Kanye got kids everywhere. I mean, I just came across a tweet from XXX Tentacion where he was like, Kanye is my biggest influence.
Hey, what's that verse? 4016, when I got so many kids in the game, it's like a gender revealing. Like that's when you got impact on the culture. Like when you say stuff like that and like people say nothing about it because like it's real and like you can go check and it's verified. You get what I'm saying?
D
It's like
Smoke is the
that's what I
rapper's
mean.
name. Thank you guys in the chat.
Who?
D Smoke.
Oh, D Smoke. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know what? This is what I mean. I think, and I've always said this, Kendrick has been an example of when the culture was suffering and there wasn't a lot to gravitate towards in terms of quality rhetoric and album making, and so everybody gravitated towards him, which is unfair to him and unfair to yourselves as a listener, you know?
Ryan Gillum says with the super chat, LL Bigger and Deffer versus Rakim and Eric B's Paid in Full. Which one would y'all say is better? I would say Paid in Full is better.
Paid in Full.
Andre Shashir says D Smoke. Yes. Yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, listen, Paid in Full. Paid in Full is one of them rare hip hop albums where you got 4 possible top 50 all time hip hop songs on one album. You got I Know You Got Soul, Paid in Full, you got Eric B as President, and you got I Ain't No Joke.
Hold on, we're not done. You got My Melody.
My Melody would probably be, I would put that over, I Know You Got Soul. That's 5. That's 5 top 100 hip hop songs all time, right there.
I almost feel like we're missing one too. Are we missing one?
Move the Crowd's probably the one you're thinking about.
Yeah, Move the Crowd.
The album is heavy, man. The album's heavy, man.
It's like the 80s version of Doggy Style. It's like everybody was like dancing and partying to it, but he was like, you want to know what? Like, those guys had an advantage because it's like, that's when like rapping and kicking knowledge was so cool that people were dancing to it. So you could kick your knowledge and still get people to dance. So it's like those guys had a leg up, and he was the guy with the biggest leg up.
And he kind of suffered from some of the things that Nas did from Illmatic to It Was Written. He was a better rapper on Follow the Leader, but the songs just weren't bigger and better than the songs from Paid in Full. Like, I heard Rakim say that he didn't really love listening to the Paid in Full album because he sounds like he's, rapping from, sounds like he's reading off the page. Excuse me. And I don't hear that, but when he points that out, you can go back and be like, okay, yeah, he was more fluid on Follow the Leader.
I told you, I base people's intent on the mic. It's like, where's your Microphone Fiend record?
Microphone Fiend's crazy.
Something off Fiend Full. It's like, where's that record? Where I'm like, man, this guy's spit game is crazy.
Lyrics of Fury, crazy. We had never heard anything like that at that point. When you listen to Lyrics of Fury and think that this is 1988, and listen to everything that was around 88 and before 88, there's nothing like that where somebody's just on the mic spitting crazy. DeCarlo with the super chat says, I'll take Big over everyone, just like I'll take Jordan over first 3-peat over everyone. Those are peaks. You're just too great, even though it ended quickly. I understand that, and I think that's the logic of Big being top 5. I think a lot of people take that as Big is there, and you want to give him that spot that he's not able to move from because he was murdered and he's no longer here. But that's not the notion. He was just that great.
I got another notion. I know we got some chats to get to.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to him.
If you were around when Barry Sanders was playing, and you got to see him run the football, you don't care what anybody else's numbers look like. You know that guy is one of the 5 best guys to ever do it. Am I right or am I wrong?
It's an eye test thing, like I said, and I don't want to get back into the Steph shit. I don't care what the numbers say. I know what I'm seeing when I'm watching these games.
No, that's why I agree with a lot of what you're saying. It's like, no, we're talking about a guy that's been the 3rd best player on the court, while the 2nd greatest player of all time is on the court, or like the 10th or 11th greatest player of all time is on the court. You look like the 20th best player on the court because you are, and that's fine. When Big is on the mic, it's like watching Barry Sanders run the football. It's not just that you're watching somebody top 5. You're having conversations with yourself every time he picks up a ball and runs it into the end zone. Is this the best person with the ball in their hands that I have ever seen? Biggie has that effect on the mic in spades more than any MC that has ever lived when you hear his records.
Every time he came through with something, you knew something special was about to happen. I
Yes, it's like
remember
watching Barry Sanders. It's like, no. He might bust a 50-yard run on us right now. And he usually did.
Me and Coop's relationship goes all the way back to what, 2001 or 2 at Dave and Buster's?
2002,
I think.
You got hired in 2000. No,
I got hired in 2002. So I used to come in after Georgia State or whatever. I used to come in and like some sports would still be on, like PTI would be on because they had like the TV screens at Dave and Buster's or whatever. And I remember Barry Bonds was on a home run chase or whatever. Every time that man stepped up to the plate, everybody in that whole place stopped and were looking, and you got a home run. Like something was about to happen. So when you say that, it's like those are things that going back looking at numbers can't really quantify. You know when a certain person shows up, something special is about to happen. And that's what Biggie did every time he showed up on a feature, every single he released. I mean, you could go back and, there's no way in the world anybody in hip-hop cut off after 2 albums would have the wealth of a catalog that he has. He could go do a versus with anybody right now and probably beat him.
Right now.
It's a
whole
people who've had 20-year careers.
Like, how about this? Like, happy birthday to Busta. All respect to Kendrick. Not beating Biggie in a versus. Neither one of you.
Mad Max with the super chat says, K-Dot is great, but they always try to make it seem like he is so above his era. I don't know one guy with a diamond plaque cut out an album with no video and went platinum with no features, but people downplay that guy. He's talking about J. Cole. Dumb It Down says, Wayne, Drake, Cole, Ye, and Griselda all have sons. This is true.
Right.
Jordan House with the super chat says, Kendrick has shifted discourse about rap music in recent time because his content, but rap itself was largely unaffected by his material, more so by the way he occupies the overall limelight. Daryl Baxter with the super chat says, I think people started focusing more on the concept albums or at least, a cohesive theme after Good Kid, Mad City. Think Games 1992, Draw Your Waves, Dare We Say 444. Okay.
No, that's inaccurate. Because
Uncle Fram says JID is Kendrick's son too.
That's possible.
That's very possible. I'm with that.
No, Uncle has a point with that. But
Mad Max says Ye made concept albums before K-Dot, and so did Lupe, and K-Dot didn't make them that popular. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Hold on. And not just,
Go ahead. Say what you were saying. I'm just going through here. This is a super chat show.
Like, no. Real talk. It's like people have to understand this. This is like, Aquemini is a concept album.
Mm-hmm.
Only Built for Cuban Links is a concept
album.
So
is ATLians.
Yeah, like there have been concept albums that have been getting made. Unfortunately,
you know who the king of concept albums is? Prince Paul. Yeah, he's been doing it. De La Soul's been doing it.
Concept albums. I was about to say, can we say De La Soul once again?
Yeah, they created the interlude, right?
Concept album kings.
Yeah, they created the skit. Possibly created the modern day remix in hip hop. So yeah.
Yeah, all the things.
Blue Collar Hustler says, Big Stepper sounds like Lauryn Hill's Unplugged. An artist going through emotional and mental issues in real time, choosing to share through art, excuse me.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, the guitars aren't out of tune. I don't want to get on here sounding like
out of tune, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay, all right. Let's go to.
Years. Hold on. For real talk, it's like you had 5 years. You didn't get a vocal coach?
Are you talking about Lauren?
Hell no, I ain't talking about Lauren. Lauren can sing her ass off on a bad
day.
Oh,
I thought you were talking about her on the Unplugged.
I'm talking about Kendrick. No, she's emotionally going through it on Unplugged. This nigga could have hired a vocal coach.
Okay. Do you want to go to the Boldy James now, or do you want to go to some of these singles?
I'm with however you want to run the rock, coach.
All right, let's go. Let's go to this Logic and DJ Premier.
Okay.
Vinyl Days.
Yeah.
What you think about it?
I put Glory Days in parentheses, and then I put Get Off My Lawn.
Didn't like the logic?
No. I like it. It's a dope record. I'm going to tell you what I put under it. I put 92, Master Ace. I put 93, Buckshot Shorty. I put 94, OC. I said that's high praise, and as high praise as I've ever given Logic. It's a little too long for a record in 2022, especially with the nostalgic feel, but overall, I like the record.
Sounds like a student, right? And this is going to be the title track off of his album that's coming called Vinyl Days. So it sounds like, how do I say this? Because it's a good song, and I called you and I was like, yo, man, I like it. And I never really say that about Logic records, but he sounds like he studied other records to make this record. It kind of sounds like some of Jay-Z's flowing over Premier stuff in '96. I mean, I kind of got some of that with it, but even the way he starts off the song, like, you know, basically kind of like a fan. And it's cool, but I mean, I like it. I'll listen to it, but yeah, it's kind of like, okay, I'm trying to recreate a time in a place.
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
But it sounds real to him. I'll put it that way.
I mean, we can't sit up here on this podcast where we call Nas the greatest MC of all time, who is like literally the GOAT of not only like hip hop in our opinion, but of nostalgic rapper and of nostalgic themes and times. But what I was saying is that there's nothing wrong with the nostalgic theme, but it has a nostalgic sound too, and that's why it's a little too long. It's like, nah, this needed to be more like 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
Zombie TV said that Logic is a fan rapper that has people fooled.
It's a fan rapper that has people fooled.
Jay Short with Super Chat, appreciate you. He said, I'm disappointed in hip hop right now. The crown is wide open and no one wants to grasp the moment. We keep getting these little concept albums because guys don't want to compete or rap for 15 songs. You know who said they want it? Jack Harlow said he wants it. The only one. LP says, not a fan. I don't like goofy music. My bias. Yes, okay. Yeah, it was cool. So I guess that was a quick review. Let's get to this Boldy James.
I'm about to say, okay, are we going to...
Let's go to Boldy. Boldy's on a roll right now, man. Okay. Boldy, what's up?
No, I said okay.
Okay. Boldy dropped the album today. Totally produced by a real bad man. What did you think about the production on Killing Nothing? Killing Nothing is the name of the album.
Okay, so the production, look at what it made me want to do. It made me want to go do my research to find out who Real Bad Man are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know who they are?
I don't know.
Okay, so first of all, the first thing I was thinking, I was like, man, whoever this is, and I thought it was one person. First of all, it's not one person, it's a team.
Oh.
Second of all, they're really known for making clothing. They make beats as well. Yeah, they got their own clothing line, and they got some other hip-hop ties as well. They've been working with some other artists as well for a minute. Guess where they're based out of?
New York.
No, they're based out of Los Angeles, because I was thinking, well, these beats kind of sound like his stuff with Alchemist. And I'm thinking like, oh, well, they're inspired by Alchemist, because I did my research today. They're based out of L.A. And so what I was hearing was this, because this is the second project that he's done with them. These are like, I don't know how well they know the Alchemist, but there's definitely some apprenticeship going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Boldy is kind of like setting himself up to transition through the future. I mean, Alchemist is not a young dude anymore. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Alchemist was a young dude when we were a young dude. He's older than us, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
You feel me? So I heard...
Alchemist got sons out here. And like you said, he has like these guys that are coming up under him who are keeping the sound going, which is a great thing because right now, everybody always says Alchemist is basically the answer for everyone. Everybody wants Alchemist to produce their whole album. So yeah, Alchemist needs some help out here. And it sounds like these guys might be some of the help that Alchemist is getting. And, you know, like you said, him and Boldy have made albums together. So it's a smooth transition for Real Bad Man to produce this whole thing.
It is. And so when I connected all of that, I thought to myself, well, this isn't a price of a tea in China. This isn't Super Tecmo Bo, and this isn't Bo Jackson. But you want to know why? The Alchemist produced all three of those projects, but this is probably the next best one after those three that he's made in the last 3 years, and that's saying a lot because Boldy's made like 9 or 10 projects in the last 3 weeks.
DeCarlo says Boldy's still above Benny, Detroit's finest. His projects are better than Benny's, definitely. That's undoubtable. And I love Benny.
I was actually about to say, if you want to go by the last 4 years, he's made project-wise, not MC-wise. I want to clarify this. Not MC-wise, but project-wise. And this is why the Kendrick thing be so problematic. Listen to what I'm about to say. If you want to go album-wise, he's been better than Benny and Conway the last 4 years.
Oh, yeah. Album for album.
Album-wise.
Yeah.
Now, where is he as an MC in terms of how he gets rated and placed in relationship to them? And that's why it'd be troublesome when you rate somebody just based on their quality of albums and not their MC level. Because I keep trying to tell you, it's like, no. All those dudes that Kendrick gets looped with, the only person that he's a better MC than, like as far as like on that rapidy rap stuff, is Tupac. And nobody's the writer that Tupac is. I mean, Tupac's still probably our greatest writer.
Yeah, he's in a different realm because of that.
Yeah, so this is where one of those things where it's like, no, you don't have to be this super lyrical rapper and make all this in-depth material to be a great album maker. That's why it's like when people talk about Kendrick, it's like, no, I know the albums are great. That doesn't mean like you're all-time great because you make great albums. Boldy makes great albums. This is another example of it. I said, what's his name? Randall, who's in our hip-hop and sports group.
Mm-hmm.
People like me and Mike are in a hip-hop and sports group where it's like...
Go figure, right?
Yeah. We do super petty things in there. Shout out to the Bryants. Like we do super petty things in there, but this morning our guy Randall, and we actually both know Randall, I guess like outside of the group, we come to find out Randall is like, Boldy's the best MC in Detroit. And I was like, he's not the best MC in Detroit, but he is the best album maker MC-wise coming out of the Detroit, and that's not a question. And so this is a guy that may not be Royce or him on the mic, or may not have the notoriety that Big Sean does, but he makes better albums than all of them.
Well, yeah. You think he makes better albums than Royce?
He does. Because here's the thing, when I think about it, does Royce have 3 projects that's fucking with Super Tecmo Bo, A Price of Tea in China, and Bo Jackson? Name 3 Royce projects that's messing with those 3 projects.
I like the Book of Ryan.
Like I said, name 3.
LP with the super chat says, never like white boys making I love hip-hop songs, acting like they were born in the culture. Lord Finesse taxed Mac Miller for using his beat. He's talking about that Logic record. Logic's mixed. He's mulatto. Blue Collar Hustler says, Nas is our greatest writer. Tupac knew that.
No, Nas is our greatest MC. Tupac is our greatest writer. Big difference.
Jordan House says, if y'all haven't peeped yet, I highly recommend Quinn Chris' new album, Death Frame. Out of all the albums I've heard this year, I don't think I had a better first listen than this one.
I've heard that. Well, Chris needs to be checked. I've heard that too. That's my 3rd time hearing that.
Okay.
Week, so.
Well, we're going to check that. Mad Max says, Boldy ain't Benny. LOL. Boldy's flow is so boring. Like, Boldy got the hooks,
Benny.
though.
Hold on. Boldy's not Benny, but Benny's not Boldy because Benny don't know how to put together projects like this. And I'm gonna tell you what it is. Boldy's old school. And this is what I mean when I said Boldy was old school. And I've said this before, Mike. No, he knows how to write a full song by himself. Track number 10, Six Sawyer. That's one of those records that Benny, if he makes that record, it doesn't see the light of day because he doesn't come up with a hook for it that's going to work. Boldy is able to take that song and because of the hook, make it into something that's quality album material because he is a full-fledged album maker and writer. And he comes from an era, Kids in the Hall, where you had to make full-on rap songs and rap shit. And so he's good at piecing a song together by his damn self. And I'm going to say that over and over again. And there keeps on being evidence to it. And he spends a lot of time out in LA because now I'm thinking about, you know, how much he works with Alchemist. And now, so he's got 3 full-length projects with Alchemist, like just in the last few years. Like he's got more projects with Alchemist, obviously. He's got 2 with Real Bad Man. Vince Staples on Surf and Turf. Like LA is Boldy's like second stomping ground when he's not in the beat. You know what I'm saying?
He done found a lane. What about Allegory in the Book of Ryan?
Okay.
Because like people are saying that the Book of Ryan's better than anything that Boldy has.
I don't know. Okay, so
once again, you're talking about consistency.
I said something very key when I brought up that. I said, give me 3 because I'm very clear on the Allegory in the Book of Ryan. Where your third one? And that's where you lose because I can go give you, because after those top 3 Boldy albums I gave you, I can go give you this one and about another 2 or 3 projects after that. Royce and M don't have that.
You know, what I got from this album, like you said, that consistency is like what Boldy's bringing. Even when he's bringing the features, he reminds me of Currency, but in a whole different way. Like, obviously, they're way too different. They're 2 totally different artists, right? But they do the same things as far as, like, giving their fans what they want from them. They're very consistent whenever they drop projects. They know how to pick production. They know how to put together projects. When they're on features, they dictate the pace. That's the other thing that Boldy does. Him and Stove do a good job of that. Jay Short with the super chat says Elzai, Boldy. He said Elzai's greater than Boldy. Black Milk albums are better too. Elzai's my favorite MC out of Detroit. I like Black Milk's albums as well.
This is what I keep saying. Like, those guys are better MCs than Boldy. They're not better than Boldy at putting a project together. They're not. I'm like, how about this? Listen to this. Go. I want you to go name me a Detroit rapper right now. And this is just, I want you to look at Boldy's recent history. 2022, like today, Killing Nothing. 2021 at the end of the year, Super Tecmo Bowl. Last summer, Bo Jackson. Real Bad Boldy at the end of 2020 with Real Bad Man again. The Versace tape, 2020. Manager on McNichols, 2020. Price of Tea in China, 2020. Just in the last 3 years, these 5, hold on, 2, 4, 6, that's 7 projects in the last 3 years. All of these are bangers. Where Royce and Elzai 7 banging projects at? Show them to me. Show them to me.
It's a lot of, look, the pace that Boldy is on.
Right.
I mean, guys aren't on the West Side in Boldy pace. West Side Gun and Boldy got pace, but West Side has a lot of features in ways where Boldy is pretty much handling these projects himself.
The Versace tape is my shit. The first song on there, Maria.
Yeah.
They got Roxy Cotton on there with West Side. Like, no. Like, Boldy put it down.
Dumb It Down brought up Prime. So you got Prime 1, Prime 2, Death in Certain, and the Bar Exam.
Yeah, okay, so that's not as good as the stuff that I just named. So
and then you got them Allegory, Book of Ryan, Royce Scott Jones. You know what? I didn't like Prime 2. I like Prime 1.
Because Prime 2 is not good. Prime 1 is good. How about this? Prime 1 is not better than Boldy's. How about this? Prime 1 is not better than A Price of Tea in China or Bo Jackson. It's not.
I'm going to go back and listen to those back to back. Because I remember liking Prime 1 a lot. I haven't listened to it in a minute, though. I got to be real.
I really enjoy Prime 1. It's not better than A Price of Tea in China or Bo Jackson. It's not.
Mad Max says, man, no disrespect. Boldy sounds like he's asleep every track. His projects be good, but come on. No, I guess people ain't feeling the Boldy assessment here.
No, every time we talk about Boldy, people go over like his voice and like how he sounds so slow. It's like, well, that's his voice. How is he supposed to sound? Like, just because he doesn't sound the way you want him to sound. It's like, I mean, I remember people used to say this about Master Killer, and somebody just told me, it was like, yo, that's how Master Killer flowed.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I was like, I guess he was like, yeah. He's like, that's it. That's how he flows.
But, you know, in hip-hop, a lot of people try to sound like a lot of people, right? Or a lot of people try to take on an approach that most people are going to gravitate to, or that they saw somebody gravitate to. I think Andre 3000 was saying when he came in the game, he wanted to rap like Redman because that's what, people were on. It takes a lot to sit there and say, you know what, this is how I'm going to rap. This is my voice. This is my
That's what I
approach.
mean.
And
Yeah,
rock with
Boldy
it.
been doing his own thing for a minute with it. That's why it's like, no. Y'all not about to take nothing away from him just because he doesn't rap the way these other guys rap.
Especially when you talk about Master Killer. Like, imagine hearing Ghostface and Method Man's float is out there, and then you got Inspector rapping the way he raps, and then he's cool with just rapping the way that he's rapping, and Old Dirty's doing what he's doing. That takes a lot of confidence, though. So what are you rating this project?
I felt like it was a solid 4.
Solid 4? I'm with that.
Yeah.
I think it was solid through and through. I mean, I think Boldy has a whole bunch of 4s. And then a 4.5 here and there,
Yeah, like A Price of Tea in China is like his peak to me still so far, because that album has a feel to it, where I felt like it just felt like something coming together properly. But I mean, Bo Jackson, Super Tecmo Bowl, the Versace tape, is Killing Nothing, Price of Tea in China. This is all in the last 3 years.
Ray Realm says, would you brothers be adverse to a Boldy versus Royce versus? Mike takes on Royce and Coop takes on Boldy.
I don't like that for Royce, in all honesty.
Really? I'll take Royce.
And you know how I feel about Royce, but I don't like that for Royce.
Huh.
Because I'm about to hit you with like Surf and Turf, Scrape the Bowl, Photographic Memories. Like, no, like Royce in trouble. Royce gonna be making like hip hop bangers like that. And when he do, Black Thought be on him.
Well,
right.
I guess this is the perfect time to let the cat out the bag. Coop and I are actually working on another show. It's gonna be, I guess we're gonna call it a Monday show, but I'll call it a third show for now, right? We're either gonna do Patreon or we're gonna do a membership through the According to Hip Hop website, and we're gonna actually play music. And so we could do something like this and actually play the music, because YouTube be making it where we can't play the music and all that. So yeah.
Ooh,
I think I'll take on Royce, and I'm not gonna play no Rock City or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
You in all kinds of trouble. I'm just been kicking through Boldy stuff. You in all kinds of trouble.
Because I think that, for something like this, we actually got to play the music so that, people could really gauge where this goes.
No. Here. No. I'm with the Royce and Boldy thing. That's what I was like, no, we're going to do this shit like for the culture that those other people couldn't do, because they was like, more worried about a check and making it seem like they was for the culture. We actually going to do it for the culture.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do this for y'all, man. I mean, we're going to do this for us, for the culture. Like, third show.
I like the Boldy Royce thing to start us off, because that's like some rap shit. That's Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
DeCarlo says, Boldy ain't got nothing better than Boom. That's just one song, though. But yeah.
I totally agree with that. I love Boom. I love Royce. I'm more of a Royce fan than a Boldy fan, but Royce don't have better catalog than Boldy. I just like Royce more as an MC. That's just me being honest. I prefer Royce as an MC, and I'm always going to have Royce ahead of Boldy as an MC. But if I got to go pick up somebody's album and listen to it, I'm going to play Boldy before I'm going to play Royce, because I know he's going to give me a better project.
Let's get to this Shade Noir.
Hold on. And speaking of which, when the last time Royce released a project? Is the Allegory it?
I think
that was top 10 in our 2020 yearbook. So it's been going on. So while Boldy's been releasing all these projects, nothing from Royce.
Well, I mean, since that little Lupe situation, we ain't heard nothing from Royce at all.
I wasn't even going to be shady and say that, but that's what I was.
I mean, it's the last time we heard from him. I ain't trying to be shady. I'm just saying, like, it's what it is.
No. The shade is appropriate if the weather says so.
Ray Realm says, I encourage A2HH to do the third show through the site. Bill Black. Yes, sir. You know what?
We've been having that conversation, Ray. So that's actually something that we've been discussing. That's been one of the things that's been in the building blocks while we've been formulating.
I would rather do it through the website than do it through Patreon.
I would like to quote Rakim. We've been thinking of a master plan.
Yeah, so. But I think that third show is going to be so dope because, again, this is going to be a show where we're going to be able to actually play the music that we're talking about. We're going to be able to after, and I say Monday show because a lot of the music comes out on Friday. We talk about it on Friday, but on that Monday show, we'll be able to go back, digest it over the weekend, and actually play the records on that other show. So, should be
Or
really
even
dope.
just do stuff like this where it's like, because here's the thing about it is that, well, there are a lot of people that probably are not acquainted with Boldy's catalog the way that I am, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean. Like the verses where they really, really dropped the ball is that if they really were to make it about the culture and not about the money and the grandiose nature of it and the grandstanding nature of it and make it really about the artist, you get to really reveal the nature of people's catalog. And,
What cool. What this was really about. This was about big time music publishers and major corporations getting the most out of their catalogs during the pandemic. That's what this was really about. And they used Swiss and Timberland to hype up some fake grassroots type of thing to do so. It's like those old school hip hop stations, right? Like they have these old school hip hop stations all around the nation so that they can just go through and play these catalogs that major record labels get paid off of consistently over and over. They'll play Gin and Juice, but they're not gonna play, new Snoop Dogg shit. But Snoop Dogg's an old school hip hop artist, right? Cause like when we was growing up, our parents had those old school R&B stations. Yeah, they would play the old Osley Brothers shit, but they would also play their new shit too.
You're contagious.
Yeah, so this is about capitalizing off of old catalogs. This ain't about actually, like you said, bringing light to dope music and dope catalogs that people are creating right now. But that's where we come in and we have the opportunity to do stuff like that.
While you were saying all that, it was playing in the back of my head. Hey, sucking nigga, wherever you are, whoever you are, wherever you are. Hey, sucking nigga. Right, because it's sucking nigga shit going on once again. And it's just such a problem because, remember when they gave us pushback about when they were getting questions about whether they were doing it for the culture? It's like, this is why in faith you're taught to test the spirit of people. Like everybody that goes out saying that they're righteous isn't righteous. You have to test them in the faith and in the spirit and through their actionability. We're going to talk about this with the Che Noir problem. A lot of the reason why I bring up the Kendrick Lamar using the B word thing or how Kanye goes on these riffs is because spiritually it really doesn't line up with the behavior that it's said that you're supposed to have. Like their behavior, Swiss and Tim's behavior in this didn't line up with what they were saying. It didn't.
They were selling us. They were selling it to us. Jay-Z does this all the time. Jay-Z does this all the time.
But they were puppets too, and ain't it so bad when black men that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars that got authority and say so and can create platforms for themselves will sell themselves, thereby you short just for some more dollars in their bank account? Because that's all it really is. But that's cool. We're going to do
that was the other thing, though, Coop. That was the other thing, though. Like you said, they're worth whatever, and they have all these connections wherever. I always was like, okay, so why are they selling this to Trilla when if Ververz is really their brand, why don't they start a website called Ververz like Trilla is? They have all the access to any type of investment they would ever need. They got the numbers. They got the data. What are you selling this to? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even make sense if this was really theirs. But again, they couldn't do that because they don't own the music. And it is what it is. And it wasn't their call.
What's that Ice Cube say about when you find out that your favorite rapper ain't got no nuts? It's one of these situations. No, that's what it is.
I love Ice Cube. I love Ice Cube for those type of lines because that stuff is so relevant.
It's so
and again,
real
Jay does this stuff to us all the time. Jay comes with a brand, gets people to buy into it because it's for the culture or whatever, and then sells it to the highest bidder of anybody that's outside of the culture. It's what they do. He's done it multiple times. He sold Prince on Tidal, man. Mad Max with the super chat says.
Let's not do that.
Mad Max says, Che Noir dropped fire earlier this year. Her voice sometimes is but she gets busy. We're gonna talk about her album in a second.
Talk about check. I have
LP
some similar
says
remarks as well.
LP says y'all should let us get in on the debates. They say y'all should. I'm sorry. Y'all should let us get on and debate y'all. Yeah, okay. I think that's another thing that we could do on the new platform too. Y'all can get on a debate. I mean, the show would be like 5 hours if y'all got on and started debating us, because I mean, we already be stretching it out.
I would advise against that for y'all. You're not gonna win, but that's fine.
We'll let y'all debate Coop then. Cut the time, and y'all can debate me on Steph.
Debate me, like real talk. I would not want to deal with me like all the time, like Mike. I'm the wrong guy for that job.
Ryan Gillum says y'all should play Coop's album American Beauty on the new podcast.
Oh, I made that album in between. So I made that album between 2005 and 2007, between California and Atlanta. It's on iTunes. I think people have been getting wind of it, but that's not the fire stuff. The fire stuff is the Souls of Black Folk stuff.
Well, we're going to play some of our music on the podcast and stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say, you want to know what? Me and Mike are going to probably do our verses that we've never talked about. Me and Mike got tracks line. Like, my best shit people have never heard. Like, the album that's on iTunes, I got nothing. Like the tracks, Mike, that I sent you, like, people were trying to sign me about those tracks when they heard them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
AKs and Curtin says Shay Noir's been cooking since she dropped Juno.
No, I went back and dug. We gonna talk about it. We about to talk about it.
Jay Short says, why Timberland kept getting passes for bringing folks to the barbecue and letting them leave with all the ribs and potato salad. All right. I love what you just said there, and I'm a Timberland fan. I'm going to go ahead and say that off top.
I'll say you go.
But this is the thing, man. When Pharrell and Chad, when the Neptunes walked away from working with Justin Timberlake because of how Jive was treating the clips, I thought it was very whack for Timberland to say, I'll do the whole album. Really? And then that's when you got, the second album, Future Sex Love Sound, with Sexy Back and all that. This is why Timberland was actually over that whole Justin Timberlake project, because Pharrell stepped away from that project on principle. And then come to find out, you grew up with Malice too? And Pharrell? Like, come on, man. That's kind of whack.
All know each other their whole lives.
That's crazy to me. Pharrell's a good dude.
Hey, sucker
Because
nigga.
I'd be like, yo, man.
Wherever you are.
Because you broke the picket line, essentially. And then on top of you breaking the picket line for your individual friends, like he said, you let somebody come to the barbecue and walk away with all the ribs and potato salad.
Just take the whole plate. Hook them up with a nice big plate.
Because basically what Jive said essentially was like, okay, Neptunes, y'all don't want to work? We got Timberland. And if Timberland would have said no, then where y'all going to go then? There was nowhere to go then. There's nobody at that time that was like the Neptunes and Timberland that could give Justin Timberlake anything that resembled what that was. Who were they going to get at that point? They would have been asked out and they would have had to do right by the clips at that point.
Listen to what I'm about to say. If you want to hear Timberland's best work outside of Missy and Aaliyah, you actually have to go listen to Justin Timberlake's albums.
Okay, they work great together. I think he did some dope stuff with Nelly Furtado too.
He did some dope stuff with her, but Justin was around for all those sessions too. You know, it's the same time frame, right? All that stuff.
Nelly was first.
Justin's right there.
Yeah, it was right after, but I think
that's
with
why
that whole
shock value, it's got Nelly, Justin, and Timberland on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, same time frame. That's right after Future Love Sexy Sound.
No, Nelly was before that one, but he was working with Justin before. I mean, the stuff that they made together on Justified sounded like Cry Me a River and Mr. JT and all that stuff. But the elephant in the room here is the person that was working with Timberland through all of this. What's his name? Y'all probably know in the chat. What is his name? Damn it, it's gonna come to me in a second. I feel horrible. But yeah, he was working with Timberland on the Nelly Furtado album and on the Justin album. What is his name? Hold on.
Engineer?
No, producer.
Oh, producer.
Nah, I'm about to look this up right now.
Ooh, who you're talking about? Hold on.
You know who I'm talking about.
I do. Hold on. Because he's big. Hold
on. Future Sex Love Sounds. Danja, thank you, Jordan House. Danja Hands, yes. So that whole new thing that Timberland was coming with, Danja had a lot to do with that. And you could hear Danja's influence on Timberland's record like you hear Chad's influence on Pharrell's stuff. It sounds a lot more full. And it's not just about the beat patterns and all that stuff. So Danja was very important in that whole Nelly Furtado and Justin Timberlake run. But again, when it comes to that whole situation with Jive and the fact that the Neptunes were telling Jive Records, like, look, until y'all do right by the Clips, we're not getting on this Justin Timberlake album. And Jive was able to sit there and say, okay, fine. Fuck it, we'll give it to Timberland. And Timberland sat there and accepted that. That's not cool. And nobody said anything about that. And as a fan of all of you guys, I'm going to say something about that. That was whack.
And hence the line on Mr. Me Too. These are the days of our lives. And I'm sorry to the fans, but the crackers won't play fair and jive.
But you know what? Timberland had it in his arsenal to make them play fair. If Timberland would have said, oh, they're not in it, I'm not doing it either. Who else is going to produce this Justin album? And at the time, we got to rewind back to 2005. Justin was a cash cow for Jive. They needed Justin's albums to go and go well. Yeah.
Not a cash cow.
He was the cash cow for Jive as a solo artist. And so if Timberland backed out, there was nobody else they would have been able to get to do this album. Who else was going to do
it? That they didn't leverage their power properly and they capitulated and played the game to make Justin
Timberland didn't leverage his individual power. I'm putting this on Timberland because Pharrell sat there and leveraged his power.
So we can't be surprised when he does it 20 years later with Versus, is what you're saying.
Not at all.
Okay. No. You're making very fair and astute points, and I'm glad that you're highlighting the whole Jive situation. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what.
It's disappointing, honestly.
No, let me tell you what was going on, Mike. I was not only living in Cali, I was living La Vida Loca in Cali at the time and recording music. So a lot of that behind the scenes stuff I missed and didn't catch me till later. Mm-hmm. So like kudos to you for kind of like revisiting that and bringing that back up the right way, because all that happening is how all the Re-Up Gang mixtapes started happening that I started hearing in Cali. Like, the Re-Up Gang stuff started happening when I was in Cali. I was like, what are they doing? I was like, what's going on?
Well, I remember when it happened. This is back when, me and Ron used to go to like the computer lab and get on MTV.com for our news and shit. So it's like, I remember when Pharrell made that stand, because I like the Neptune stuff the most on Justified, on Justin's first album. I remember when Pharrell actually made it public, like, look, nothing against Justin. He's my brother, or whatever Pharrell said. And he was like, it's Jive Records. And I told them, I'm not touching his project until y'all do right by the Clips. And I was like, oh, wow. And then next thing I know, the news comes out that Timberland's producing the whole thing. Now, granted, at the time, I didn't know how close Timberland was with them growing up and even, just proximity. I knew both of them were from Virginia and all that. But looking at the timeline now and looking at the fact that Timberland grew up with Malice and all of them too and was in a group with Pharrell, I'm like, damn, man, that's kind of whack.
Only thing that's not whack about it is the music.
Oh, yeah, dope album.
The music delivered. No, and I say this to say, this is what I mean about capitulating, though. What year was that? That's 04, 05-ish, right?
Yeah, 05-ish.
Why don't you give that to Usher?
Exactly. All right. See, now that's funny you say that, because the Neptunes, they were giving everybody.
That's all I got to
say. The Neptunes were giving everybody shit. So
that's the shit I'm talking about. No. You gave Justin Timberlake a better R&B album than you gave somebody, I don't know, who was in our culture at their peak at the same time. that literally was in competition with this guy, and you gave him like he
Well,
gave.
it may have been the JD factor because
Man,
you know
he gave him
Timberland
so
wasn't
much smoke he could huff and puff and man.
Timberland wasn't rocking with Jermaine at the time, really.
I don't
So
care
maybe
about
that's
that.
what it was. I don't know, but at least the Neptunes can say they gave both of them heat. They gave Usher, you don't got to call, you ain't got to call, and stuff like that. Like,
I'm saying, like,
yeah,
you give Usher no heat. You gave like he gave Timberlake all the heat, like all the heat. He gave him heat on album 1, 2, and 3.
yeah.
Like
He dug deep.
Like, the 2020
he went and got some help.
the production on 2020 Experience carries 2020 Experiences. Timberland is literally doing 2 beats per track, and he's killing. He is killing it. I'm like, man.
You know, somebody in the chat says that Genuine suffered the most from the Justin Timberlake wave. And it's interesting because when I heard My Love for the first time, I thought, like, yo, I've heard this on Genuine projects.
What, My Love?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, you're right. That sounds very When Doves Cry remake, Baby I'm Sorry-ish.
Yes. Yeah. 100%, you know.
Yeah. I don't know.
DeCarlo says, can't be mad at Timberland for choosing himself.
Well,
the thing is, DeCarlo...
how many times are you going to choose yourself, though? It's 20 years later. You have hundreds of $1 million more. It's like you chose yourself 20 years ago. You couldn't choose us this time? You couldn't choose the culture this time?
Well, this is the thing, though, and this is where I stand on it. Timberland, you're one of the all-time greats, and you're a one of one, to be honest. If you would have stood with that fortress, they would have buckled, and the Clips would have gotten their situation, and both of y'all would have been on this project. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. I'll take my Hell Hath No Fury and my Re-Up Gang mixtapes.
Well, it's funny how things fall. You want to get to this Shay Noir, or you want to talk about... I want to talk about this Migo thing real quick, because I know it's going to be quick.
That's cool.
Takeoff and Quavo just dropped a single together called Hotel Lobby under the name Unc and Few. And for people out there who don't know, Quavo is Takeoff's uncle. Don't ask me how, it just is.
No. I want you to stop for hold on. I want you to stop for a second. I'm gonna tell you exactly how that works.
Go ahead.
My nephew Rich is upstairs right now in the guest room. He flew in from Phoenix late last night. He's here for a conference for his job this weekend. Now, my 2 oldest siblings are my 2 oldest sisters who are 11 and 10 years older than me. That would put them in their 50s because I'm 40. Rich is 35 years old. I'm 40. That's my nephew. He's upstairs. Me and him was up till 4 o'clock in the morning, sipping on so he been living in Phoenix since he graduated from college. So he brought in some West Coast ass beer last night that we was drinking. But that's how those situations happen in Black families, in case you were wondering. It's I'm living close to it now. Right.
I love it. But they grew up with each other. I don't even know the age difference between Quavo and Takeoff. Somebody in the chat probably will look it up, or maybe Cooper look it up while I'm talking. But
I'll look it up. They've
always clearly been close, and it's funny when you talk about the whole Bad and Bougie thing. And I think DJ Academic and Joe Budden made this whole thing popular about the fact that Takeoff got left off Bad and Bougie. But anybody who follows the Migos knows Quavo and Takeoff were kind of carrying the group for a very long time. When, Offset was away, he was locked down doing a, short little bit, whatever, it happens. They held him down. And they have proven over time, especially their first couple of mixtapes and actually in the past couple years, that they can drop records without Offset. And this song, again, is more proof of it. Hotel Lobby's hard. And I know when we talked about Culture 3, we were talking about the lack of chemistry. And we were talking about how chemistry was a big part of what the Migos do. And this right here is the chemistry. And I hate to say it, and I don't know what's going on over there per se. And there's rumors that Offset unfollowed, Takeoff and Quavo on social media. Same thing with Cardi B. She unfollowed him too. I don't know if that's how groups break up nowadays, but this right here is the chemistry. And you could tell that on Culture 3, Offset was kind of like Offset, for lack of a better term. But yeah, These guys sound good together. I want to hear more of this. I'm down to hear a whole project with Takeoff and Quavo if it's gonna sound like the chemistry that I heard on this record.
No,
Because Culture 3, the reason why I didn't like Culture 3 is because of the lack of chemistry.
no, no, and you had a reason to kind of feel that way about that, and I was right. Comparable situation like me and my nephew Rich, Quavo and Takeoff are 3 years and 2 months apart in age,
Wow.
and so Quavo probably has an older sibling like I do. You know what I'm saying? And Rich is my second oldest sister. That's her firstborn son that's upstairs.
Okay.
So I'm 40, he's 35. So it's the same family situation going on. You know, we from the hood. We from Youngstown on our side of this family. They from North Side. Matter of fact, you want to know what's funny about this? You know, these dudes, like, you know, Migos know my older brothers. They're from the crack. My older brothers used to get down up in the crack where Migos is from. Like, they know them. Like a lot of their early style and stuff actually come from my brother Rico North.
That's what's up, man. I you know, and I've said this on this show before. I think that Quavo, in my personal opinion, is one of the best group leaders that we've seen in hip hop, especially in recent times.
I'm going to step back with you on that because look at everything that's been happening pretty much since Culture 1. I can't call him a great group leader because, like, to be honest with you, Culture 2 and Culture 3 have been big problems. And you want to know what I thought about today? For everything that you just said about Offset, you remember what I said about Offset in this whole situation when all this happened?
I don't remember. Refresh my memory.
So I brought up the fact that, you know, a man, when he gets married, he leaves his mother and father and he does what? So his allegiance is not to these guys anymore. It's not. And also, too, just business wise, like faith and life wise, he's not tied to them anymore. Okay, he's not. That's not the way it goes. But also too, well, when you're with her, you're splitting the bag 2 ways in the same house as opposed to 3 ways in separate houses. What would you rather do as a man as you get older?
And she brings in a lot.
Now, and she.
Do you remember? Do you remember when he got harassed by the police? I think it was out in L.A. or something.
Yeah.
And
that's about her.
And no, you heard what Offset said. He was like, "Do you know who my wife is?" or something like that, or something to that.
That's what I'm saying. Even a lot of that attention is about her, though. That's what I'm saying.
Like, he is. I mean, and I say this respectfully. It is what it is. Like, you know, even A$AP Rocky, the dope career that he has. He's viewed in mainstream media as Rihanna's boyfriend.
Yeah,
so Rihanna's Offset is Cardi B's husband now. You know what I mean? Like, it's what it is.
Splitting the bag 2 ways in one home is more financially and economically savvy than splitting it 3 ways in 3 different homes. And plus, there's the religious and biblical aspect of what you do when you get married to a woman. Now, here is something that people aren't talking about in this. Because here's the thing about it. Everybody keeps, and you brought this up, does it sound better chemistry-wise with him out of the fold? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to know who else is out of the fold that we're not talking about? Sweetie.
Yeah. No, it's real.
She's out of the fold, too. Why is nobody making mention of that? See how
You're right.
Turn it on with Cardi B?
You're right.
Well, guess what? She popped up right around the time.
You're right.
They started making whack shit. And we all know.
I didn't think about that. You are 100% right.
We all know who's really running this group and who's the real creative force behind this group. Now, funny how when he's removed from her for an amount of time, they start popping back up with shit that sounds like shit that they were making before when? Before
Sweetie
he came around.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put this all on Cardi B and Offset. My thoughts in terms of the chemistry being problematic is more towards, well, who's been affected the most? The guy who really comes up with all the creative juice. Well, he's the one that went through a breakup and is removed from it for some time now.
Yeah. I mean, because there is no Migos song without Quavo on it. Like, you got a lot of, you got Migos songs with Quavo and Offset. You got Migos songs with Quavo and Takeoff. But there's no Migos songs with Takeoff and Offset. So, yeah, he is the engine.
So we need to be talking more about Sweetie not being there and less about Cardi and Offset being happily married and doing their business thing. Because what I will tell you is that Cardi only has one album, but guess who's on there with her? Migos with the second single on there, Dripping.
Yeah.
So what's going on chemistry-wise could have more to do what was going on in Quavo's personal life than Offset's.
You might be right. AK's the Curtains with the super chat says, how do y'all feel about Don Trip? I like Don Trip. This is the other thing I was going to say, man. Here's my prediction. I think that the next phase of Migos is probably going to be this Unk and Few project. And they might continue to do some things like that, and I like it. And I think that the next thing for Offset is, I think him and Cardi B, in my personal opinion, I think they're going to do a family reality show similar to what, Tiny and T.I. did. And I think it's going to be very entertaining. They already graced the cover of Essence magazine with their whole family. And so I think that is the next phase there, because I don't think Cardi B's making any more albums. I think that she's going straight to television.
Soundtrack it out if you're going to do it. Make some music to go with it. That's one thing that I really haven't been seeing. I see people doing these reality shows about their careers while they don't do like any career stuff. Offset and Cardi are still viable enough to do records together to accompany any outside ventures. Like and when I'm saying that, I'm saying bankroll it yourself and eat off of it yourself. Because her name is big enough that if they do something like that, well, bankroll the musical side of it yourself and reap the benefits of it. Do your own, theme song. Let the backdrop for when the scenes are coming on. Let the backdrop for the music be y'all's music. You get what I'm saying? Like, get paid on it on every aspect and every level. Truly.
I think that the music. Do you see Cardi coming with a new album? And do you see Offset coming with a solo album?
What I'm saying is if they're going to do a show, they're going to need theme music, right? Every time these shows come on, there's theme music playing about when the show starts and about when the scenes get cut on, right? At least create your own theme music.
Man, theme music it's very tough to make theme music in rap where it's not corny. I think the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air made an all-time great theme song, rap song. But let's be real. That theme song's kind of corny, right?
No, it's pretty great.
I think the best theme song that we've seen in rap might be Living Single. That wasn't corny. I mean, if we talk about for song.
It's not corny, but it's not better. It's not
Living Singles. No. The Living Single theme song's better than the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song.
It's not. No, it's not.
Come on. I pulled up to my house about 7. Come on, man. I think you're judging it on the show. Of course, the show stands on its own, and the theme song is iconic in that way. But it's not better than the Living Single theme song.
Born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. Outside of when one day
it's the delivery, it's the production as a song. Come on. People saying the Wayans Brothers, that's electric.
I like the beat better. I like the beat the better to the Living Single.
Keep your head up, boy. Keep your head up. That's right. Wherever there's something, you gotta fight with my homegirl standing to my left and my right. True blue. Tight like glue. Come on, man. She just made a better. That's a better song.
I'm gonna give you that, and we're gonna transition into Che Noir's brilliant album on that regard.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
So Che Noir dropped Food for Thought some months back. We didn't get to it, so much going on in hip hop, and you guys have been requesting us to talk about this album, and yes, this is definitely something we should have been talking about. Now let me get to these super chats real quick before we get into this album. Mad Max says 50 got the best theme song for Power. That's a classic theme song for a show. That's a great song. I will say that.
No, it's not. I do not like that at all.
It's fire. No, the Power theme song is fire. I can't front, man.
No, it is not. You think the Power theme song is fire?
Yeah, you don't like 50. I don't think people in the room know that Coop's really not a big 50 Cent fan. DeCarlo said Power's theme song is better than all of that. Yeah.
No, it's not. That's not true. It's not that I don't like 50. I love Get Rich or Die Trying. It's just that everything else is ass.
The Boondocks theme song. That's another good one
You
too.
want to know it, and it's like I don't know what I don't like the way that he trolls people either. You know what I'm saying? Because
Oh,
it's
here he
like
goes.
no. 'Cause here's another thing. It's like no. Be a real fighter and beat people when they at their best standing up. Don't kick people when they down. That's
Yeah, I
sucking.
don't like that either. Yeah.
Yeah, he does suck a nigga shit. So it's like, no, I don't care for him because it's like, well, you the type of dude from the project that kicks people when they down, which means you was never the toughest guy in the neighborhood. You a fake tough guy. Be a real tough guy.
Mad Max says, then the Boondocks one was crazy too. Yeah.
You know the
People like
Boondocks.
Okay.
Boondocks.
Shay Noir.
Check.
We could have a whole segment about hip hop theme songs.
We could. That might be a third show Monday thing where we play and debate.
Yeah, we'll actually play the full songs. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm marking that down in my notes. That's actually Monday show material. Is theme song. Monday show. Go ahead, I'm listening. Go ahead, let's get to this show.
So yeah, what were your thoughts when you first listened to Shay Noir's Food for Thought album?
My immediate thoughts about halfway through the album is this better than Ransom, the album, or Black Star's album, which are probably my album of the year contenders right now.
Really?
So yeah. No. This album's like
I think it's better than Ransom's album.
I do too.
I think the production is very, very impressive on this. I think she's impressive on this. I think the features are very impressive. I love the fact that they did that Ladies Brunch song with Love the Genius and Armani Caesar. I think she stayed on brand like crazy. I think one of the best beats I've heard all year is Eat or Starve.
It's getting all of it. It's getting all of it, Mike. It's all there.
Yeah. 38 Species is on it. Yeah, that record's crazy too. Table for 3. Mad Max says, LOL, no 50 slander. That's a NY legend. 50 is a legend.
No. He piggybacked off of Nas's run and got on. He wasn't that dope or that great. He didn't really get his slow down until he got shot, and Dre and M signed him off the mixtapes. He was never that guy's lyricist. He was riding Onyx coattails before that. Don't do that shit.
But he was a bet. All right. That's why I said we'll stick to the topic.
I'm going to go get my nephew the steamer right quick out the laundry room, but that nigga was never like that.
Oh man, we got to talk about that. Ray Realm says Shay Noir is in my favorite top 20 MCs of all time. All right, what were y'all favorite songs on this project? Because, like I said, Eat or Starve was one of my favorites. Table for 3 was crazy. Also, Ladies Brunch. Like, what were some of y'all favorite songs on this album? I like the Power theme song, but it's not the best. NY don't rock with 50 like that. Come on. All right, this is what I'm going to say, and I was going to wait until Coop got back. 50 did do a great job of adjusting his career. He went outside of NY to get his situation, changed up his style a little bit, kind of added a southern drawl to what he was doing, and I think he may have been very divisive for New York hip-hop, but I got to give 50 credit, man. When it comes to being a songwriter and being able to make those radio-friendly records and making those hooks in the way he did, like he was able to balance out street records and radio records seamlessly. And a lot of the NY rappers and his peers weren't able to do some of those things.
What happened while I was gone? I was
just talking about, 50's versatility as an NYMC and being able to get outside of NY and make his career. I mean, 50
he made
is
one
a
all-time
hustle.
great album. No, anybody that knows me around that time, I love me some Get Rich or Die Trying. It's one of the best
I
rap
like the
albums
Massacre
ever.
too.
But outside, no, the Massacre's trash. It's
No.
what it's a weed plate. It's a weed plate. It's what you break up marijuana on and you roll up. All right, there's like 20 songs on there, like 3 of them are good. That's a weed plate. It's what Jada Kiss said it was. Get Rich or Die Trying is fire. His first album got shelved because he wasn't good enough. His second album happened.
No, that's not what happened. Nah, his first album got shelved because he got shot up. That's what happened. In Colombia, they want none of that smoke, and they walked away from him. That's what happened. And he was able to pick up his career after that and make a classic.
Yes, he made a classic.
Under duress. Under duress. Mad Max says,
Under duress.
LOL. That's
Come on.
not true.
Having Eminem and Dr. Dre fly you out the Cali, Mike, is not under duress. You're not under duress.
But how did he even get to that point?
Nas.
Oh, come on. Nobody would. So you're telling me Nas made the call?
No, what I'm saying is this guy, like literally, had Onyx backing him, had Nas backing him, and then had 50 and Eminem backing him. Like
No, this is what happened. This is what happened.
No, I've never seen a dude with more cosigns than this. Like, he done had plenty of cosigns to get in the game.
This is
like,
what
he done
happened.
Had 3 cosigns.
Chris Lighty was managing him. Chris Lighty did a great job. They got him a deal outside of New York because New York wasn't fucking with 50. And when 50 had to go outside of New York to get his deal, he gave it to everybody in New York. Now, what I did say when you walked away, he might have been divisive for New York hip-hop. And some people credit him with destroying New York hip-hop to a degree. But his individual creativity and his ability to make songs, we can't knock that, man.
What songs
50 came with a whole new brand.
What songs are you talking about?
Let me get to these super chats real quick. Mad Max says, LOL, that's not true. All my under 30 love 50. Pop Smoke, Troy Ave, all copy him. 50 do got a lot of sons out there. They're like, stop it, cool. Ray Rim says, Brains for Dinner is my... Ray Rim says, Brains for Dinner is a monstrous track. This is definitely a top 5 album this year. Jay Short says, quiet as kept, 50 don't want a versus with Ja Rule. Nah, man. 50 got
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you talking about these records, it's like, what records are you talking about, Mike? Are you talking about Get Rich or Die Trying?
I'm not.
It's like...
I'm talking about the mixtapes. I'm talking about the stuff on the Masker. I'm talking about some of the stuff on Curtis.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. The rest of that shit is just okay. It's good. It's good MC stuff. It's not like legendary... Like
you're talking about the MC, and I'm talking about the songs, like 50's production, his hook game.
Like, the songs ain't like that either. Candy Shop, nigga.
The Candy Shop's trash. I'm not talking about that record. I'm talking about the stuff like on the Big Ten. I'm talking about stuff like Double Up. 50 got joints, man. Jay Short says no rapper had more help on a classic than on Get Rich or Die Trying. I think The Game had more help on the documentary.
Helps about as equal. Get Rich or Die Trying is just a better album.
Mad Max says Ghetto Quran 50 was rapping. We not doing that. LOL. 50 changed the sound of music, son. He had a video game. Only DMX had a run like 50. 50's run was crazy. 50 was doing units. I mean, Lloyd Banks and Young Buck were out here doing units.
Nelly did units and so did Ja Rule. Y'all wasn't saying that they was like that. Like, no. He right
50's there a better rapper than both of them, and I like both of them.
He's not a better rapper than Ja Rule.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Come on, man. 50 Cent's a better rapper than Ja Rule.
He's not a better hitman.
Do you want that? I mean, we could do that on our show too.
His shit is in his hits, and he's not a better hit maker.
I ain't gonna play. Listen, I won't play none of the 50 hits. How about that? I'm going straight street records. Since Ja Rule's a rapper like that, I don't want you playing any of the radio records from Ja Rule either. We just gonna do the street records.
You don't want to do that to 50.
I want to do that.
50 don't have no street records.
He do.
What street records he got? The ones with Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo rapping on them?
No.
He don't got no street records. The only street record he made was Back Down against Ja Rule. The rest of that shit
is... You missing a lot, man. You're missing a lot.
What Up Blood? You think What Up Gangsta is like... Because that's a single.
That's a street record. That ain't no single. What Up Gangsta is not a single. It was such a big shit.
In the club more than they play in the club, Mike. That's what I'm saying.
What Up Gangsta was like You Don't Know. It was one of those songs that just organically just popped up. It wasn't a real single. The record labels didn't put that out as a single.
I love Get Rich or Die Trying. I love What Up Gangsta, but like this nigga's not great. I'm sorry. Like y'all need to stop talking. Where are the records?
A legend.
What 50 records you be playing, Mike? We're going to go back and keep on saying this. When y'all call guys legends, what records y'all be playing?
I want to. Mike, listen, I want to get to Shay Noir.
50 is so great. No. We've been doing this podcast for over 2 years. We haven't hardly talked about 50, and there's a damn good reason, because he ain't like that on the mic. Right. Next.
50's
Proof
great.
is the fact that we ain't talked about him, Mike, and I don't even want to talk about it no more. If he was like that, we would have talked about him the same way we've been talking about Kiss, Pop, Nas, Jay. We done talked about Jay Electronica more than we done talked about 50. Y'all niggas need to get real. We done talked about Prodigy more than we done talked about 50. We talk about Siegel more than we talk about 50 because that nigga ain't
Well, I
like
think
that.
Siegel's nicer than 50. And I think all the people that you mentioned are nicer than 50.
That's what I'm saying. We talk about Redman in relationship. He nicer than 50. 50's not even a top 30
Yeah,
MC.
Redman nicer than 50, yeah.
He's not a top 30 MC. He might not be top 40 or 50. Don't do that,
man.
He's not
the
Talib.
slander is crazy.
He don't even have Talib's catalog. You know how I feel about Talib, Mike. Come on.
I'm putting 50 over Talib. Jay Short.
What? One album? On one album?
Not one album.
You got to go off of.
No, we got mixtapes. We got the Massacre. We got Curtis. Jay Short says, Mike, you heard Beneventivici? Streets. I heard Beneventivici. I remember when that album came out.
You remember the Def Jam CDs, Mike? That's what I'm saying. It's like, no, he don't want y'all rule on no street shit.
Survival of the Illest. Mad Max says, Mike, all you got to do is play How to Rob, Many Men, and Victory remix. Ja got no records for 50. Coop is losing it.
Many Men, yes. What Up Gangsta, yes. What I'm trying to tell y'all is that all of those records y'all are talking about, they pretty much fall on one album. That's why we ain't talked about Fam on here in 2 years, because he ain't like that. When we talk about MCs, do we talk about 50, Mike? Yes or no?
No.
Because he ain't like that. Next.
But 50's a great artist. Since we want to play that artist and rapper thing.
The female MC we are about to discuss is better than that nigga on the mic. Yes, she is. She'll wax that nigga on the mic.
See, y'all talking about mic performances or whatever, but you know what? At the end of the day, man, 50, he was able to combine just making songs and rhyming.
Get Rich or Die Trying is one of the best rap albums ever.
So,
and outside of that, he's a suspect MC.
So you didn't like, you done made me lose my train of thought.
Because the shit's not hard, and you can't think of the records offhand because they're not classic.
No. These records are classic.
I like Hustler's Ambition.
I was just about to mention Hustler's Ambition.
Yeah, that's the best thing that he made post Get Rich or Die Trying. That's the
Hustler's
highlight.
Ambition is great.
Hustler's Ambition. No, you can give me about 10 to 15 records, and that's it.
50's a great songwriter. You just got to give him credit with that.
Great songwriters have albums worth of great songwriting. You have one album. He's not a great songwriter. He had a moment.
DeCarlo with the super chat says,
Nelly was a better songwriter. Eminem had 3 dope albums. Eminem has a better catalog than 50.
Let's not go there. That versus you don't want. That's the verses you don't want. Do you want that one? I want that one. You want to pick Eminem?
Eminem's first 3 albums are better than everything 50's ever done.
All right. How about this? You pick Eminem's catalog.
That nigga whack.
Cool. You pick Eminem's catalog. Speaking of whack, and I'll pick 50's catalog. And we'll see who's the wackest of the two. DeCarlo says Nelly raps better and had a better album run.
He's right. That's what I keep trying to tell you. If you take Get Rich or Die Trying, if you take Get Rich or Die Trying out of this man's catalog, he doesn't even get rated as an average rapper. He gets rated below average.
Nas the Goat says, Coop, Ja Rule's losing the street records. LOL. But yeah, no, I want the Eminem smoke. Eminem's so great. And 50's so garbage. I'll take 50. I'll take 50. You take Eminem.
No. I want the Eminem smoke too. I'm going to take Eminem on this one to show you that you're going to have to play everything on Get Rich or Die Trying just to beat me. But here's
I probably won't even play anything.
No. I got a
caveat. It's Eminem. This is light work.
No. I got a caveat for you, and I'm about to make your job and let you know exactly how weak this nigga catalog is. You can't use those 2 M songs on Get Rich or Die Trying.
I won't. I don't even care about those records.
You need that.
I don't care about those records. When I think about 50, I do not care about Don't Push Me. I don't even like the record.
Money in the candy shop. I take you to the candy shop.
I'm definitely not playing that either. 50 got records, man.
I get money.
Jason said 50 was the 3rd best MC in G Unit. LOL, he's not top 50. Man, the 50 hate is crazy. LP says 50 Cent is the future. God's Plan, No Mercy, No Fear. These are street classics before Get Rich or Die Trying. You got a
Yeah,
blind
it's good
spot, Coop.
classic.
You're
Your life's
way out of
alive.
touch. Not to mention the G Unit records. Mad Max says 50 dead. Mad Max said 50 dead changed hip hop. I don't care about skills when it comes to him. LOL. He gave Game, Banks, and Buck classics along with G Unit album. Coop, stop it. 50's different. I agree.
You gonna play G Unit records? Did you say you were gonna play G Unit records?
Listen, man. Yo, TJ says Mike D hates M just like Coop hates 50, and I think this is perfect. This is perfect. This is perfect. Give me 50 and you get M. No. Yeah, I'll take that one good album against this guy you say got 3 great albums. You should win this one, right?
No.
You should win this one.
I know for a fact. I know this for a fact. Eminem has made 3 albums that are worth listening to. 50 Cent has made 1. That's just arithmetic.
Again.
That's arithmetic.
Again, you should have no problem beating me with 20 Eminem songs then. You should have no problem.
50 is better than K-Dot. See, that's why I lose respect for people. It's like, man, 50 didn't create the mixtape lane. He stole that from Re-Up Gang when his ass got shot. All right.
Huh? No, the 50 mixtapes was before them, man. No. 50 did. No, 50 created that mixtape lane for individual artists. Yes, he did. We got to give him that. I know the Locks did their thing too.
No. He didn't create that lane because he went back to what he knew. He first got recognized doing the mixtapes with Nas and Nature and Noriega around the time. He just went back to what he knew. He didn't create shit.
He made it a thing. When 50 did the mixtape thing, everybody had mixtapes.
People were checking for Nas between it was written.
Huh? Come on, man. I mean, no. I feel you. I ain't saying he invented it.
Trying before the mixtape run originally came from doing mixtapes with Noriega, Nature, and Nas, and all of them back in '97.
Man, when nobody listening to that like that? 50's mixtapes were legendary.
No, he was on tour with Nas, jumping on the back end of Nas's mixtapes. He just went back to what he seen working for Nas. He didn't create shit.
Oh my God! Now Nas created the mixtape.
Hold on. I can show you 50 on mixtapes to '97. Is that a fact?
That's fine, Coop.
Is that a fact? Yes or no? You acting like that didn't happen, Mike.
It's cool. It happened, but it didn't happen to the level of where 50 took it.
What did he create if Nas did it for him in
How about this, Coop?
What did he create?
Created, we could go all the way back and see, because none of them created the mixtape. But 50 made the mixtape a thing and took it to another level where everybody was doing it. And that's just real. That's just real. 50 did that. That's his impact. We want to talk about what people's individual impact is. Because, like, let's look at Puffy, right? Let's look at Puffy. Puffy's impact on hip-hop, on music, whatever, he's the guy that successfully merged hip-hop and R&B in more of a hip-hop favorable thing. Now, did he create that? No. That was something that was done in Uptown and all that. But he is the guy that took it to that level where everybody was doing it. 50's impact with mixtapes is he is the guy who made mixtapes in the early 2000s where everybody felt like, oh, shit, I don't need a demo to get on anymore. I need a mixtape to get on. 50 did that. That we can't take away from him, period.
No. And respectfully, my rebuttal is going to be to that and to everybody in the chat that's saying what they're saying. If what y'all are saying is so viable and so relevant and so relative, why is the first conversation on this hip-hop oriented and based podcast about 50 happening 2 years and like 2 months into this podcast if it was like that? My whole point to y'all is that the fact that it's taking 2 years and 2 months for y'all to say all these things is the proof that I have that it wasn't like that. Because if his run was like that, Mike, we would have discussed it on this podcast before. And this is the first 50 conversation, and we're 2 years and 2 months in. It wasn't like that. And the fact that this is the first time that this conversation is happening is the proof. Now show me where we've talked about 50 before this, and I'll listen to what you're saying. But my proof is in the fact that we haven't had a reason to talk about 50 because it wasn't motherfucking like that.
I think we haven't had a reason to talk about 50 because he hasn't put
like
out
that.
music.
We go back to KRS literally today and on Wednesday, but we don't cover 50. Don't say that.
50 is not KRS though. Like,
and not relevant like that in the scope of hip hop history. He had a moment.
He had an incredible moment. He had a moment.
How often do we talk about
Listen, hold on. His moment's not regular now. His moment's not regular.
Y'all not about to
and you know what? We have talked about 50 because I remember distinctively.
Name one show about 50, Mike.
No, I'm about to go there. I'm about to go there. We talked about Jay-Z retiring. And Jay-Z retired, quote unquote retired, to get out of the way of that 50 splash that was coming that nobody had an answer for. And that's just the real. We've talked about that on the show before.
Mike, you don't have one show title that got 50 name on it. That's bullshit.
Man, come on, man. Yeah, but that's because he ain't put out no music. If 50 put out some music, we would talk about it. You act like 50 put out some music and we ain't talk about it.
No, because he's not relevant. He doesn't affect the culture. Mike, we have conversations on this show where we get called old men because of how we reverence people that did music in the 80s. When the last time Slick Rick or Cool G Rap released the album? You don't get to say that.
Well, you know what? This is the thing. You know what? This is the thing. And
I make all-time great conversations. Cool G Rap and Slick Rick do because he ain't like that.
Well, I think, too, it's because things have gone past the music, right? I think that, unfortunately, 50 is kind of turned into an internet troll, in a sense. And so there's really nothing to talk about if we're not talking about him clowning somebody. And we don't have that kind of show. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not into the gossip, so we're not going to talk about 50. And I hate to say it like that, but that's what 50's kind of become over the past couple of years. He doesn't put out any music, so we don't really have any titles of of our show to put 50 in because everything that he's engaging in seems a little bit more gossipy these days, to be honest.
And you're right about that, but let me submit something to you. Do you understand almost everybody who was rhyming around the time he was rhyming is still rhyming? It's because they're dope MCs. He's not an MC like that.
He pushed his hustle over the television.
That's because he wasn't a dope MC like that, though.
I think 50's a hustler.
No, if you want to talk about him as a businessman, as a mogul, I'm going to give him all the props in the world. If you want to talk about hip-hop and the craft of MCing, you don't get the pull-up after 2 years of us doing this show when he hasn't been a factor and try to make him a factor. He is a non-motherfucking factor.
Well, you feel about 50 like I feel about Jeezy.
Outside of Get Rich or Die Trying, he is a non-factor. Jeezy's movement was longer and bigger.
Please.
And Jeezy made better albums.
Did
he? Jeezy had a better career. Yes, he did.
After Thug Motivation 101, that's it.
No. People like 101.
And I don't even like that album like that, to be perfectly honest with everybody.
But this is what I'm saying. Jeezy has Trapper. How about this? Jeezy has Trap or Die 1, 2, TM 101, 103. He has The Recession. Yeah, no, he has a way better.
You know what? I think this is the thing with me, man. I never got into Jeezy because he blatantly stole Pastor's Choice style, and I just never could get into it. I mean, anybody who's heard "Are We Cutting?"
The game is still around, Mike, because he's better than 50. 50 was never an MC.
Oh, you're saying Jeezy's better than 50?
In terms of an album,
there's no way in hell. No way in hell.
He's better MC, but he's made better albums. Where's 50 dope albums outside of Get Rich or Die Trying? Because Trap or Die 1 and 2, like literally.
Are those albums really that dope? What do the people in the chat say? I mean, because I want to get to these super chats, and then we got to get to the Shay Noir thing too. LP says, Coop, 50 was the first one to turn freestyles into full songs. Before 50, nobody was creating their own hooks. They just dropped verses over beats. That's a very good point. I agree 100%. Shoot, I think I skipped somebody's super chat.
That impacted the culture that we haven't talked about him in 2 years. He's not like that.
Jay Short says, I could replace Uncle Murder with 50 on Get Rich or Die Trying, and I wouldn't tell a difference. So how could he be a legend if your voice wasn't missed?
Y'all are giving 50 a lot of love for like, I want y'all to say, people pulling up giving 50 love. We haven't talked about 50 in 2 years because he's not like that. You want to talk
Well,
about
maybe we should be talking about 50. Maybe
in what regard? In what regard? Y'all don't have no regard to talk about him. You want to talk about him as a hit maker because he's not even the hit maker that Nelly, Ja Rule, or LL is.
Well, do we even talk about Jeezy in that way?
Or Pac?
But see, you're naming like the all-time greats, and I'm not saying that 50 is those
Nelly
guys.
and Ja Rule.
No, come on, man. 50's better than those guys. And I love both of those guys. And they sold a bunch of records.
Are you sure?
I like Nelly a lot. I like Nelly a lot. And I have
listen, Richard Die Trying though, Mike.
I have a whole lot of respect for Nelly and the fact that Nelly came out the gate selling 10 million from a city where nobody even heard a rapper from and had zero cosign and only had Rashida and Lil Wayne, who was before a solo album at the time, on his album. I think that's one of the most amazing stories in hip hop. But is he better than 50 Cent? No, he's not. And I love Nelly.
No.
Mad Max says, Coop acting like 50 ain't have Jay-Z name dropping. Yeah, that happened.
Okay. So, you want to know what? No. I got a great idea. Let's go ahead and rate 50 Cent right now as an MC, since y'all seem to think so highly of him. And we haven't done ratings.
Are we gonna do that? DeCarlo says Jeezy would crush 50.
No, since y'all want some smoke, y'all about to find out what this dude's got and how low he's about to rate. How about this? Lyrics, let's go. 1 through 15, rate 50 lyrically, Mike. I'm gonna let y'all rate them.
Lyrically, 1 through 15, I'm rating 50 like a 11, maybe.
Okay. Mike, voice. Because he had to get shot for the voice.
I think his voice is a 8.
So on a scale, okay, so we got an 11 out of 15, and we got an 8 out of 10. Delivery.
I think his delivery's a 9.
Okay. Storytelling.
Huh. He got Baltimore Love Thing in his catalog.
Right. So Mike, you see how you're having to dig? So he has one song. Does he even qualify as a storyteller? Does he have enough storytelling to even catalog it, to qualify?
I mean, he got Crime Wave.
Y'all about to look real bad up in here when I get done with y'all.
Nah, man, his storytelling is alright. You know, is this a scale from 1 to 10?
His storytelling is alright. Not from the way y'all talking about him. Y'all talking about him like he's all-time great. So
we haven't gotten to the other categories yet. So 7.
You're not gonna fare well in those, Mike. Keep going.
All right, what we got?
No, what's his storytelling?
I said about 7 or so. It's out of 10, right?
Hold on. His storytelling is a 7. So I'm going to tell you what. Jay-Z's storytelling is a 7. So you're telling me he's a comparable storyteller to Jay-Z?
Nah, he's not. Probably about a 5.
Okay, there we go. You see how he's really not who you say he is.
It's a big drop.
Right. Catalog of albums. I can't wait for y'all to rate this. It's out of 15,
That's out of
Mike.
15. It's a catalog of albums. We're counting mixtapes in that, too.
If we're counting mixtapes, we're taking Pusha T up for the Regame mixtapes then. Because you
Okay.
didn't say that and Lil Wayne gets taken up. We didn't count mixtapes.
Oh, we didn't count mixtapes? Well, if we're not counting mixtapes.
We count mixtapes for 50.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that's
albums.
Catalog of albums. That's around a 10 out of 15. DeCarlo says Jeezy would crush 50, and Thug Motivation 101 is equal to Get Rich or Die Trying.
Agreed.
I disagree on both levels.
Collaborations, Mike.
Collaborations out of 10. I think his collaborations are about a 9.
I'll give you that. I think he's a great collaborative artist.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of his stronger suits. Oh, interesting question. Legacy.
Well, obviously it's not that high because we're talking about it in this terms.
No, Mike, how can it be high when we haven't talked about him in 2 years? And I want you to just answer that. How can his legacy be high when we haven't talked about him?
That's true.
At all?
So
his legacy is not high. So what is it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say about a 7.
Hold on. So let's go to some other 7s that we have in legacy and see if that matches up. Because this is what I keep trying to tell you. Nah, his shit don't even match up like you think that it do. Let's go to it. So his legacy is the same as Conway's. We got Pusha T at an 8 and Conway at a 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think he would have a bigger legacy than Conway.
I'll give him 8.
Okay. Mad Max says 50 was smoke Jeezy. LOL. Jeezy almost lost to Gucci, who wasn't even trying. Jeezy don't even have no great joints. Jeezy dead whack. What are we doing? We're not doing that.
That's East Coast bias. Longevity of records. What you hear
Listen,
outside
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I agree. Jeezy's whack, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think his lyrics are laughable, honestly.
I don't agree with that. I think these guys are actually very comfortable. Longevity of records.
I think longevity of records is pretty high. That's got to be a 9.
What records do you hear play outside of In the Club in 21
You
Questions?
can't say outside of anything. What up, gangster? Like, Mini Men.
Hold on.
You can't just start picking and choosing, Coop.
Hold on. So KRS-One gets an 8 for longevity of records, but 50 gets a 9.
50 has songs that are going to be here forever, Coop. Just like Juvenile would get a 9. Juvenile would get a 9.
Hold on. So you're saying that the longevity of 50's records are stronger than KRS-One's?
I would say the few songs that he has songs that will last forever.
It's a yes or a no, Mike. Like, is it better than KRS's 8 or is it not?
I think. Does KRS have In the Club in his catalog?
No, he just has like 10 songs that are. No, actually, he does. He has The Bridge Is Over, which plays forever the way
it doesn't get played more than In the Club, man. Come on, man.
We
got to be real.
Hold on. How many records does 50 have that have the longevity of Chris's top 5 records? Does 50's top 5 records have the longevity of Chris's top 5 records? Because if so, he doesn't deserve to be rated ahead of him.
I disagree with you because I think when you actually have a record or two that is going to get played more than 10 of this other person's records, then yeah, it is what it is. You can play In the Club anywhere and everywhere.
No, I'm just being clear. You're comfortable with him at a 9.
I am. For longevity of records, yes. Based on the few records that he has that have stood the test of time. Like, you could play any of those 50 records that are notable, and anybody will know what songs you're talking about.
Okay, let's go. Longevity of career.
Now, that's low.
Yep, damn right it is. We got Kendrick
is that out of 10?
We got Kendrick at a 6.
Okay, if out of 5.
Yep.
LP says, because you're not acknowledging it, Coop. When you talk about Wayne, T.I., Re-Up, Jeezy tapes, that's what 50 influenced. That was the mixtape blueprint.
I'll give him that. We doing the rating right now. I want y'all to see how he rates. Since y'all think he's
Jordan House says, y'all got to do a 50 and Jeezy versus. Nigga, I'm down. Jeezy's records can't. I want Eminem, really. I want the Eminem smoke, but if you want to do the Jeezy, I'm with that.
Mike, I want that smoke. I'm going to smoke you because you have to play all this happy shit to even fit it in. You can't even find 20, 50 songs that's banging like that.
Yeah. Jay Short says.
Hold on. I'm taking Boldy. I'm taking the street dudes. You can have Royce and you can have this guy, whatever he is, 50, half a dollar, 75, nickel. Like, you have him.
Oh, man, the 50 Cent hate is crazy.
You take Royce, you take 50, I'll take Boldy, I'll take Jeezy. I'll tell you how these streets really work, nigga. I'll show you how these streets really work. They ain't working off them niggas. That's for damn sure. Like, Royce don't even do no work since Lupe put this shit in. 50 ain't did no album in like a decade, Mike. Like, y'all wild for this. I can't wait for this songwriting skills.
Songwriting skills is probably a 10.
Songwriting skills are a 10?
Yeah, that's actually his strongest suit.
Hold on. Listen to the people we gave songwriting skills to, and I want you to really think about that.
Because he writes for others. You hear his songwriting in the documentary.
Mike, we rating him next to everybody else, and you're going to tell me if he belongs or not. I'm not going to say anything to you if you slide him in this. The people who have songwriting skills on 10 are Rakim, KRS-One, Nas, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Redman. Hold on. No. DMX, LL Cool J.
I'm comfortable with that.
Common. You think as a songwriter, he's at Nas, Rakim, DMX, Jay-Z level?
LL Cool J, Common.
Cool J. Yes, you think he's at that level as a songwriter?
I think so.
I'm not giving him a 10 for that. You must be out your mind, Mike. He's got one classic album. We're talking about guys with multiple classics. I'm giving him a 10. No, how can we give a guy with one classic album a 10 when all these guys have multiple classics?
Do they?
Yes, they do. You want me to run them down again? Rakim, KRS
No, no,
One.
no, no, no. You've said that LL Cool J has one classic album.
Jay-Z. According to other people telling it, he's got 2 or 3. That's why, according to hip hop, it's for the people and not for Coop.
Jay Short says, hold on, let me get to some of these super chats. He says, put EI or Hot in here in the club now. Let's see. A lot of people in here agreeing with me. Let's see. Mad Max says, Many Men has been remixed by newer artists like 10 times. Coop, yes, that record lasted. It did.
No. We're not rating one record. We're rating the catalog. Fuck that record.
Oh my God. The 50 hate is crazy.
Hold on. What other artists have we pulled up in here where we're talking about? That's like me saying it's like, well, Follow the Leader is great. It's like, no shit, nigga. I know Follow the Leader is great. We talking about the whole catalog. That's like me pulling up saying The World Is Yours is great. Mike, did you know?
But we're talking about longevity of records.
Mike, did you know that Stop Being Greedy was great, Mike? Did you know that?
We're talking about longevity of records, so that's a different conversation.
Oh shit, Many Men is great. The difference between 50 and these other dudes kept making classic records. That's why y'all keep having to bring up stuff off Get Rich or Die Trying, because there ain't much to go off of outside of that.
Mad Max says 50's not more street than 50. 50 went up against Supreme. What the fuck? Jeezy do in the streets. Live out selling coke. Oh, we're not gonna do that on this show. Mandan says 50 don't have nothing on KRS. Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're putting 50 as a songwriter where Rakim, Nas, and KRS and DMX are.
We'll go 9.
Mike.
But let's not act like he wasn't the chief writer behind these G Unit albums, behind the documentary.
Where are the classics at? We just put him, you gave him the same rating as Rakim and Nas. Show me where the songs are that show that he's the songwriter that Rakim and Nas and KRS-One are right now. To give him a 10.
Well, does Nas have an In the Club? Does Nas have a Many Men? He's a great songwriter.
A Many Man?
Does Nas have a Many Men? Does Nas have a What Up Gangster? Jay Short says, this is great, guys. I would love you, Mike, but you sound like you're writing for The Source in 1994 with this NY spin.
Mike, you can't be serious as a songwriter putting him in a stratus. You understand that you're putting him in Kendrick's, Scarface's, Nas, Rakim, KRS-One.
I'm just going to be honest.
Hold on. Why isn't Ja Rule and Nelly there?
Because they didn't write the records that 50 wrote. And honestly, you know what? I'm not. No, hold, stop. I'm not opposed.
You have to do more than write one fucking record to get in here.
I'm not opposed to Nelly being high on the songwriting end because we haven't rated Nelly yet. So you don't know how I feel about Nelly and his songwriting, his hook ability, his hook game, and all that. So if Nelly, from a songwriting perspective, was a 10 because he wrote a country grammar or he wrote Ride With Me and these songs got legs, you hear these songs to this day, I'm fine with that. Because again, Nelly and 50 do have that in common. They have records that are just them that we're going to hear from now on. And we can't say that for everybody.
Yes, we can, Mike. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You are acting like, this is what I'm saying. You are acting like If I Rule the World isn't a hit single. You're acting like The Bridge Is Over in South Bronx for their airs aren't hit singles. You're acting like Eric B as president isn't like that. And listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Songwriting rise. If we're talking about, because here's what you need to be to get a 10 on songwriting. You have to be able to do the street record. You have to be able to do the lyrical record. You have to be able to do the hit record. You have to be able to do it all. He doesn't do it all. If Many Men is his best hit record, Mike Nas got like 20 street records better than that. Do-Rags and I Gave You Power and everything on Illmatic is better than Many Men. So when y'all talking about street records, Memory Lane's better than fucking Many Men. That's a street record. That's a record that's for the streets that's not on the album. Is Memory Lane not better than Many Men? You gonna compare the writing on Memory Lane to the writing on Many Men and tell me that he's a 10? You gonna compare the writing on Lyrics of Fury to this nigga on What Up Gangsta and tell me it's a 10?
Well, I'm going to use. I'm gonna use your talking point. Not all. I'm gonna use your talking point. Not all 10s are created equal.
They're not. But where is he a 10? Hold on. Here's why he's not a 10. Y'all love Many Men so much. Put that shit up against the Evils. That's why Jay is in here at a 10. 50 can't do that. He's not a
But
10
you're
as a
talking
writer.
about
He
rhyming
can't do that. No,
skills,
he can't do what
man.
Jay did on The Evils. He can't do what Jay did on 44 Force. He ain't like that. He's not a 10 as a writer.
Many Man is chilling, man.
It's the only chilling thing, though. Y'all keep going off of one thing. You got to make more than one record like this to get in here. You understand that? You understand everybody else that's in here? I can go to multiple songs off of multiple albums about why their songwriting deserves to be a 10. Multiple songs on multiple albums.
The people in here seem to think that he's up there on the 10.
He's a 10 as a songwriter.
Yeah. Mad Max says 50's hooks are better. 50's hooks are better than Nas, K. Dot, and these guys. Yes.
We're talking about the
let me finish. He said yes. His songwriting is high. He wrote these hits. Man, he gave Game Hate It or Love It, and he gave Game his most notable songs. I think that's a fair point. People think you're bugging in here, man. You got something personal against 50.
No, so hold on. Let me get this straight. Hate It or Love It. How We Do. In the Club. Right? 21 Questions. Y'all are measuring this up to Rakim and Nas and KRS-Ones and Kendrick's best stuff? Like, for all the rhetoric that y'all just spit out about Kendrick, how can y'all spit this same rhetoric out as Kendrick as a writer and recognize 50 as the same caliber writer?
It's a different type of writer.
Hold on, so 50 is a 10 and Kendrick is a 10? Because you understand Kendrick is a 10 as a songwriter. Scarface is a 10 as a songwriter. Y'all telling me 50 is where Kendrick is as a songwriter after hearing Mother, I Still Sober, and Auntie Diaries. That's what I'm saying. How can you say that? Mike, how can you say that?
What I'm saying is...
No, how can you say that?
Let me finish. What I'm saying is writing the whole song. Now, obviously, it's an MC, right? 50's not to their caliber of lyricists, MCing, and all that. And I do agree with the fact that, yes, when you're talking about the fact that 50 puts these songs together from the hook, even listening to Hustler's Ambition, right? This is just a well-written song. And it's not even about him being a great MC or whatever, or even a window shopper. Like, these are just well-written songs.
No, these songs are well-written, but what I'm trying to tell you is that Nelly and Ja Rule do the same thing, and they're not 10s as songwriters either. He's not in the stratosphere. Like, how about this? Does he have anything MC-wise? See, y'all keep going to the songwriting about the hits and all that stuff, but what about the MC side of things? What about the MC side of things? Where are his classic lyrical bars and records at as a songwriter that shows?
Well, if he lacks that, we could take off.
He does like that.
We could take off.
But y'all know he lacks that. Why did y'all just sit up here and argue with me and act like he was Rakim or Nas or Black Thought lyrically with putting those words together and give him a 10?
Well, because I thought songwriting was something different, I guess.
Can he write Silent Murder or Follow the Leader? Because they can write hit records. They have them. Rakim can write Mahogany. Nas can write If I Rule the World. Can he write Follow the Leader or Silent Murder? No, he can't. He's not a 10.
Ray Rims said we missed the super chat. I'm trying to find it, Ray Rims.
I'm trying to find y'all's logic after y'all just gave Kendrick all this praise and y'all are giving 50 the same praise.
50
y'all
a legend.
Fuck.
Ray Rims said this 50 Cent debate proves that your third show needs a judge to determine who wins the round.
Yeah.
Can you check out my previous super chat?
Songwriting like it's high. Go, Shawty.
That's great songwriting. It is.
No.
It's not great lyricism, but it's great songwriting.
I'm going to contextualize a 9 on songwriting versus a 10. That's a 9 on songwriting. You want to hear a 10? Ha 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 ha. Check out this bizarre rapping style used by me, the B.I.G. I put my key, you put your key in. Money you will be seeing. It reached the fucking ceiling. Check it. My calico's been cocked. This rap Alfred Hitchcock drop top notch. Player hating gon' stop. This it's stick.
We need literary devices.
That's a 10. 50 don't do that. That's what I'm talking about.
DeCarlo with the super chat says, if 50 this high, Eminem has to be higher by default.
That's what I'm trying to say. How can you give 50 a 10 as a songwriter when he doesn't have nothing like Kim or Bonnie and Clyde or the shit that M has? And I don't think M is a 10 as a songwriter. Y'all bugging. He's like a 7 or an 8.
I think M is a great songwriter, to be honest.
But he's not. Do you think he's a 10? Hold on. So he's a 10 then, Mike?
He's not. He's not, because he comes with shaboing, boing, boing, and he comes with I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. That kind of knocks him down a little bit. Nas the GOAT says Mike Ja Rule has wrote more hits than 50.
Yes, he has.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying Ja Rule's not a 10. This guy's like a 7
No,
or
but
8.
see, you know what? I never knocked Ja Rule's songwriting. I just said that 50's a better rapper than Ja Rule. Now, Ja Rule is a dope songwriter, actually. I think that's what carried him over. The fact that because let's just be real. Can I get a what is Ja Rule's songwriting?
Listen to what I'm about to tell you. I never really thought 50 was a better rapper than Ja Rule as a street level or on a songwriting level. I just thought he had a better delivery and had the right team with him. I never
Jay
thought
Short says, Mike, I think you're forgetting that 50's story made his music more memorable. Many Men had the impact because it was
right.
It was attached to marketing his story. Well, welcome to Interscope. That's what they do.
Right.
And and music is about your story. It is what it is.
But get you to Rakim, KRS-One, Nas, Kendrick Lamar levels as a songwriter, Mike. He's a 7 or an 8.
Okay.
Which one? You want to give him 8? Hold on. Who do we have as an 8?
You done talked me down from a 10 to an 8.
How can he be a 10 with the guys we just named? Realistically,
I say 9 at least.
Hold on. We have Lil Wayne at a 9 and Conway and Pusha T at a 9, so I'll give him the 9. That's fair. Okay, we're at freestyle live performance. What's his freestyle live performance?
Now that's bad.
Let's give him what are we giving him? A 4 or a 5?
I think a 5 is cool. I mean, listen, I think this is a whole nother show, cool. We got to talk about Shay Noir.
No, we almost done. We only got 4 more categories. We're about to give him a rating. I want you to understand we're almost done with these ratings. He doesn't even have 100 points yet. Let's keep going. We're going to get y'all to understand where he really is. And, Mike, I'm going to get you to understand this shit, too. I believe you rode with him on this. Oh, I can't wait for this. Content and subject matter.
I think that's about an 8.
His content and subject matter is an 8?
7, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We got Jay-Z at an 8. Is his content and subject matter beyond Jay-Z's?
Nah, not at all.
Then he's at a 7. Right. So, right now, Hook Game.
That's a 10.
We're doing that out of 5, remember?
Okay, that's 5.
I give him the 5 for that. That's easy. Versatility, that was out of 5 too. We'll give him a 5 for that because that's easy. And Intangibles, I'll give him a 10 for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real Leonard Washington said Mike can't ever stick to his guns when it comes to Coop. I'm trying to move the show along, guys.
No, Mike want to move the show. Mike want to move the show. He gonna argue with me about this all day. Mike, you understand? Hold on. So we just rated him. You know what he scored? Scored 106, Mike.
I think we need to have a whole nother show on this because, again, this wasn't even on the agenda.
Hold on, Mike. When you say that, first of all, we've done enough of these ratings that you know it's not hard to rate these guys at this point. And we just spent about 10 minutes rating this guy, and it's not like we didn't give him fair smoke. Like, he got a 106. He's not all-time great, okay? So, because from what that I've seen
that doesn't mean you can't be a legend, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know what? I don't even like Jeezy's music. I think Jeezy's a whack rapper, but Jeezy's a legend.
And Jeezy's going to check more of these boxes than 50
Well, that I disagree on. Now that I'm going to argue you on. LP says... yeah, I'll give him that. LP says, Coop, by your standard, Pac should get the same treatment. Nah, that's not fair.
Hold on.
I guess he was talking about on the songwriting.
Now I'm talking about Che Noir's album. Pac is the best songwriter ever. Let's go.
What are you rating Food for Thought?
I think it might be the album of the year, Mike. So I don't know. It's better than Ransom's album, and we gave Ransom's album a 4.5. Due to everybody constantly berating me about Most Def's mic performance on No Fear of Time, I took Black Star's No Fear of Time from a 5 to a 4.75. This project feels just as good as that, if not better. It might be the album of the year. I think it's better than Ransom's album, Mike, and I probably had Ransom's album in second place right now. This is
I still got No Fear of Time ahead of it, but maybe I need to sit with it a little bit more. But
I want to listen because there's a few things that she did. First of all, this is conceptually brilliant and well conceived, much like Rhapsody's Eve. And you know how I feel about Eve by Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
Conceptually brilliant and well conceived on the same level. I think the mic performance is lyrically better. And I told you that I thought Eve was the best rap album from beginning to end I had ever heard from a counterpart MC of the female variety. I also have told you that about some of the things that Love the Genius has said, and also after hearing this album, where hip hop is in a place where it's like, I don't know how much longer we can keep on saying female MC. Damn, she smashing niggas, Mike.
Yeah.
Like, when I say female MC now, it makes me feel guilty saying it when I hear her in Love and Armani on that brunch for ladies. Is it what, Ladies Brunch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, like, that's just MCing, you know? And so it's like that. She's like that. Lyrically, she might be the best MC out in terms of the females right now. I would tell you I still prefer Love the Genius's voice and versatility, but Che Noir is the most polished out here outside of Rhapsody.
I like Che Noir more than Rhapsody. It's my opinion. I'd rather listen to her music over Rhapsody. I hate to, pit one against the other, because I know that's
Right.
very predictable from a male hip hop listener.
Like, we gotta unpack the biases as we talk about these things. Yeah,
but at the same time, I think that she's clicking on all cylinders and she's killing it on all ends. And I do agree with you. I think this is one of the stronger albums of the whole year. I don't have it over No Fear of Time, but I mean, again, that's no knock at all to be second to that. I would say right now my album of the years look like No Fear of Time, this album, and Ransom's album.
No, our top three is the same and probably in that order. Immediately when I heard this album, I was like, well, I don't know if it's better than No Fear of Time, but I feel like, don't you feel like the production on here is better than Ransom's album, even though Ransom's
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
No, most definitely. No, I think that's where
it takes over, right?
That's where it takes gives it a leg up on Ransom's album. Now, the production on No Fear of Time, it's a whole nother story. LP says, Coop, you were comparing 50's lyrical ability in songwriting to Rakim and Nas. Pac don't have that lyrical ability either. You rated 50 on a curve. We'll handle that a whole nother show, guys.
No.
Acknowledge it, though. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. So, no, Pac's lyrical ability is not like Rakim or Nas's. His song-making capability in terms of the heartfelt and touching nature of it is at another level. 50 don't have so many tears or Dear Mama or Brenda's Got a Baby. Y'all got to stop that.
No, that's true.
Like, 50's not like Tupac as a writer. He's not lyrically inclined like Tupac is, but Pac is somewhere supreme that 50's not as a writer. And this is why Pac is there and 50 isn't, because 50 doesn't write those types of songs that put him in those conversations with those lyrical giants the way Pac does. So you're kind of making my point for me, LP. If he were to write more touching stuff like that, he would be there. His touching stuff is Window Shopper and Hustler's Ambition. That's not going to make it to the top of the line. So Many Tears and Dear Mama and Temptations will, though. I Ain't Mad at You will, though. You feel me? Hearts of Men will. No More Pain will. 50 don't have records like that. 50's not in Pac's realm as a writer. That's why he's not A10. He's not even A9, in my opinion.
Ray Reynolds says, not only did she drop another bomb but Che Noir has been on a hell of a run. She's clearly been the best in the game for the past couple of years. Yeah, I think that on a mainstream level, right, Rhapsody was kind of doing this, I want to say, in the early 2010s. And then I think when she got on Complexion from To Pimp a Butterfly, the mainstream started taking notice. And, I guess she signed the Rock Nation like right before that, right after that, whatever. And then she became the talking point of, the female MC that people need to talk about. But I think that Che Noir has taken that and ran with it and has taken on this whole consistent output of material that people like Boldy James are doing, people like Westside are doing. So it takes that whole notion and conversation to a whole nother level. Ray Realms also says, with Shay Noir's run, where do Mike D and Coop rank her amongst all-time female MCs? She's my favorite of all time.
So I have some notes because after listening to this album, I kind of figured we were going to get questions like that. And so lyrically, here's where she is to me, because I've listened to this project and I've been going back and listening to the previous project. She's been on a run since, whoever says she's been on a run since Juno, they're absolutely right about that. Mm-hmm. So here's what I would tell you is that lyrically, she might be the best of the lot next to Lauren. That includes Digga, that includes Rhapsody, that includes Love, that includes Latifah, that includes Light. So when she's talking about wanting to be the best, well, there's some lyrical stamp that's been here in terms of what she does that's at the highest level. I think Love is only like a step away from her lyrically. And I'm going to be clear about that too. Love is only a step away lyrically from where she is. And I think the step that Love really needs to take lyrically to be where Che is probably a confidence and consistent delivery thing. Because Love's delivery sometimes is switching it all over the place, because I think she's still figuring out some things pattern-wise about what she wants to do to let it know that it's her. So lyrically, Che is probably the best and most solid that I've heard since Lauren in terms of how consistently she's going to give that bar work to you. I'm going to throw Digga in there as well.
Yeah. But you know what? And I'm going to be fair. I mean, you know, Digga's Dirty Harriet album's my favorite hip-hop album from a female MC, as far as like, you know, bar for bar, rapping, whatever.
Isn't this better than that?
This probably is. But, you know, again, I think that, again, it's more nostalgic for me in that way. But Digga doesn't have a lot of work, and that's just the truth.
No. I thought about Dirty Harry when I thought about this, because I thought about you, and I was like, I don't think Mike can say that Dirty Harriet is his favorite album from a female MC. After listening to this, I was like, because she's doing what Digga did on Dirty Harriet, like on 10 on here, and she's doing it like on some solo shit a couple times where it's like super impressive. But here's what I was saying about where she falls. I'm like, well, Rhapsody is already stamped, but she's probably a better MC than Rhapsody at this point. You know how I feel about Rhapsody in Carolina. She's just better. But here's what else that I said, and you spoke to it behind the scenes and kind of took some of my notes, and that's been happening to us more lately. Armani Caesar is a star. She has the most appealing voice, and she has the most swag of all of these women. And you can hear it. Like, she's not lyrically anything that Che and Love are, but man, if they had her voice and her appeal, and I'm not talking her physical appeal, I'm talking about her appeal when you hear her, when you hear the confidence, like, star on the track, bitch. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so she's not that. Lotto has been putting that work in. I started following Lotto on Instagram. Like, she doesn't want to show every night.
Yeah, like, Lotto's putting in work
towards her dreams for what she loves. What I would tell you is that when I put all these things together, I was like, and this is why Lauryn Hill is still the best female MC of all time, because she had all of those things in spades. But what we have,
she ain't got the catalog though. And that's just
no, I didn't bring up catalog. I was bringing up lyrics.
Are you just talking about like just lyrics, in a vacuum?
Right. Yeah, right. Lyrics, voice, versatility, star power, appeal, and putting in the work. I was thinking like, and that's why Lauryn Hill was rated so high. But what I realized too is that, man, the game for females is in a place that it hasn't been since its inception, where it's like, no, we got a lot of women out here that can spit the real and want their respect.
And there's a lot of different lanes too. It's not like to be a female MC that it's only one way you can get in, you know?
Right. Well, the climate was proactive for them because of women like Light, Moni Love, and Latifah. And I kind of feel that I felt that resurgence of that ideology of like, we're here, nigga, like on this album, and I loved it.
The Combs 44 says Shay Noir's buzz needs to get a push, just like Meg's first buzz. And then that would be a big win for hip-hop.
We're going to push it. No, she's nice like that. Like, she gets on the track with Rome and with Ransom and 30, like, Stowe. Like, she getting on tracks with dudes that's, like, high level, and there's no drop-off from her as in MC. As in, like, most guys, when they are hearing the MC, female MC in the crew, they're expecting there to be some sort of lyrical drop off. I know Lil Kim and Foxy had a lot to do with changing that crew dynamic of being like, no, not only am I a spitter in the crew, but the best in the crew. But, you know, and they rhymed with some heavyweights, obviously. Like what Che and Love and Armani and this crop of females are doing, though, they are like really putting their own stamp on things where it's like, even though they belong to a crew, their identity is so self-identified, independent of the crew. It's like when I'm hearing these ladies rap on the Brunch for Ladies track, it's like, I don't know who they belong to. They just sound like they belong, and that's beautiful. You know?
Ray Reynolds of the Super Chat says, Shay Noir's God as God Intended is a better rap album than Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Did you guys get my text about that album?
I did.
Okay.
I'm listening. But that's what I mean. It's okay. So as a rap album, it is better. But what I will tell you is that, well, is there a final hour on there?
Lost Ones.
You feel me?
Yeah, Lost Ones or something like that. DeCarlo says, where y'all got Cash Doll among the ladies?
I'm not big on Cash Doll. I wouldn't have her in my top 5 right now. If we were qualifying. Because I just gave you my top 5.
I like Cash Doll a lot.
I mean, but I just gave you Che. I just gave you Love. Just gave you Rhapsody. Just gave you Armani. I just gave you Lotto. I just gave you my 5. That's why I bought them up. I was giving you my 5.
And shout out to Detroit. I think Cash Doll, in my personal opinion, is beautiful.
No, I mean, like, not saying she not, like, dope. I'm just giving you my 5. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you my 5. That's my 5. And here's what I realized. 3 of my 5, and I thought about this. Well, 3 of my 5 are from the Buffalo, Rochester, Niagara Falls, upstate New York area. There's something going on in the water up there, Mike, because here's what we have now. Because remember when we had this conversation about the fellas last year, and Armani was the only one that we were throwing in there?
What about Lotto?
Huh?
What about Lotto? What do you think as far as...
That was my 5th. Okay. I got Che, Love, Rhapsody, Armani, Lotto. That's my 5.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I love what, every time I pull up, I love the work that Lotto was putting in as a young woman.
And Ciroc is underrated. Ciroc is underrated.
Yeah. But that upstate New York thing that's going on, Rock Marcy started all this, Mike. Rock Marciano is responsible for this. Like, I thought about this. Like, people give Griselda credit. Rock Marciano is responsible for this because you got Rock Marciano, you got Conway, you got Westside, you got Benny, you got Che, you got Love, you got Stove, you got Rome, you got Armani, you got Flea, you got 38. That's all that upstate New York shit. That's not downstate. That's 3 hours up north, closer to Canada, closer to the border where the snow really, really happened at. And it's bad up there at times. I got accepted to Syracuse, so I've been up there before.
Yeah.
Them streets different. But, like, the talent that's coming out right now is crazy. They got something going on.
It's a beautiful thing. I love to see it. I love to see the different movements in hip-hop and people being able to basically move their weight on the game and into the game, and it's a great thing, man. Like, I don't think that there's anybody quote unquote dominating. I think all the lanes are wide open, and whatever lane that you're listening to or want to listen to or listen to in the moment, it's there for you. Ray Reynolds with another super chat. He says, "You're both right about the final hour point, but we do know that Lauren's only album isn't a rap album. It just has rap songs on it. It's not a rap album. And that's why I've always leaned towards Dirty Harriet."
How about this? We need Shay to bubble over the ground. Like, Shay and Love, respectively, can go down artistically, creatively, and respectfully as the greatest female MCs who ever lived. But what I'm trying to say is that they're so dope, I don't want them to be classified as female MCs anymore.
Yeah, it's MC.
So what I'm going to tell you is that I hear all-time greatness on this album out of Che Noir. I'm going to speak it like I would speak it if it was a man. I hear all-time greatness out of her on this album. And so that's really how we need to respect it and treatment. Because I'm going to tell you, she did something on this album that the 2 artists who get revered the most in the past 10 years didn't do. Well, she was consistent with her religious ideologies, and she clarified them well on this album in a way that Kanye and Kendrick Lamar have not learned how to do on the project. And I put that down. That needs to be noted. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, people keep praising these guys for their willingness to experiment and put interpretations of things and things. It's like, understand that this woman is doing it and doing it with fundamental backbone. One of my favorite moments of this album is Communion, where the lady that's on the hook that's talking is talking about her cursing and the inappropriate nature of the cursing. Hence why I keep bringing up y'all calling Kendrick righteous, but he keeps on slinging the B word around. Hence Kanye and some of the rhetoric that he espouses. It's like, when you belong to that club, Mike, you can't talk about belonging to that club and not behaving a certain way. She speaks to the struggle of the behavior in a way that they don't, and is truly and sincerely apologetic for it in a way that makes me feel like she is practicing it on a level that they are not, which makes me respect it more when she gives it out artistically. So what he's doing on Donda and what Kendrick's doing on Mr. Morale are doing on the Big Steppers, what they're missing is they're not solid like she is. She's solid.
Ryan Gillum says, how do y'all feel about the album Hit Girl by Drizzy? Haven't heard it yet.
I haven't heard it.
So, what are you rating this album?
It's at least a 4.5, but about taking the Black Star album down, I don't want to give it a 4.75 because that would put it right there with the Black Star album, and I don't think that it's as good. I'm going to tell you what, that Black Star album, Mike, I think we're going to be talking about it in 5 years. It's like, man, you see how innovative and creative and forward-thinking that album was?
That's how I feel.
I feel that way, and that's why I gave it the 5, but it's almost like people don't want to hear me and want to keep calling most lazy, but that makes me say I felt more comfortable about the 5 after listening to the Che Noir, because I'm like, man, this is a quintessential like 4.75. Mm-hmm. She ain't missing much but that overall classic feel and classic song or songs to push it over the top. It's got everything else.
Well, perfect, man. I think that should wrap up the show. This has been a great show. And man, I
don't believe the whole 50 thing. I'm so mad at y'all about the 50. I don't believe the 50 thing, Mike. Like, I don't believe you about the 50 thing. You got 50 high?
I think 50's a legend. I don't know if I put him in my top 30 as a, you know what I'm saying, all-time MC or anything like that. But I think that he is very high in certain individual aspects.
Can I say this? Okay, so, like, is he a legend? It's like, yeah, but things like, it's the scale about the legend. It's like, well, no, like his legend, like Cypress Hill and Onyx are legends, Mike.
50 did some things that very few people in hip hop have been able to do. And he even went back with that, you know, work that he put in and picked up Mobb Deep, picked up M.O.P.
That's what I love.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he made somebody like Young Buck a star out of Nashville when now Young Buck's a leader in the South. Then, you know what I mean? Like,
that's that Jay conversation again where y'all talking about the business and not talking
about
the
music. No, but I'm saying that his abilities would put him in position to do these things. I mean, he didn't just do this in a vacuum.
No, but see what I'm saying? But you're inflating that opinion based on those other things. It's like, no, that's business. That's not the mic. On the mic, Get Rich or Die Trying, and 50 Cent is the future is what we have. And that's not enough for the gravitas that y'all just gave this guy. Like, y'all just gave him higher praise than Eminem. He does not deserve higher praise than Eminem.
He does.
Even though he's made, no, he does not, because he's made, because here's what
you're
saying.
He makes better music than Eminem.
He's made one album better, but what I'm saying is
see, this whole narrative that he has one album is not true. You know?
It is, Mike. The Massacre is trash, Mike.
The Massacre is not trash.
It is.
Go listen to the Massacre. The Massacre is not trash.
Gatman and Robin.
Yeah, the song with Eminem on it. Yeah, that shit's trash. Yes, I agree with that. You did name the song with Eminem on it.
What I'm trying to tell you is that if you go back and listen to his, when I be talking about how Kendrick Lamar and don't nobody be playing his stuff, it's like, man, that's 50 times 10. At least Kendrick stuff, you don't replay it because of the depth of it. Kendrick's 50 stuff, you don't play it because it didn't age well, because it wasn't that great to begin with outside of that one album that Dr. Dre executive produced that had tracks from his mixtape on there that also had Eminem contributing while Eminem was in his prime. He needed a whole bunch to make that work. Bucks
I
on
think he
there,
had,
Eminem on
I
there.
think that's a little overblown too, because he held down a lot of those records, the important ones, by himself.
No, outside of What Up Gangster in the Club and Many Men, no, he didn't. Those were the 3 records he held by himself that are legendary. The rest of the stuff he had help.
What songs did he have help that are legendary?
Okay, so the songs with Eminem, the songs with Banks, the songs with Yayo, the song with
Banks isn't
Buck.
on there like that.
Huh?
Banks is on "Don't Push Me" with Eminem.
Don't Push Me with Eminem, right?
Yeah.
So Eminem and Banks are on there. Patiently Waiting with Eminem.
Uh-huh.
The record with Young Buck is on there, right?
Young Buck didn't carry that record.
Young Buck's the highlight of that record.
That song is probably the weakest song on the album. That song's more of like one of those coming of age songs.
I love that record. You're bugging.
No, the record "To Love" on there is
If I Can't Do It.
Heat. If I Can't, yeah. Heat's crazy.
Yeah, no.
High All the Time. He's holding these songs down himself. Ray Realm says, imagine 50 and Shay Noir spitting the street story together. AKs and Curtin says, is Monday's show a go? Yes, it is, but not this Monday. We're getting it together.
We're going to let you know. No, I'm not saying that he hasn't done great stuff, Mike. I'm saying almost all the great stuff is on one album, and that's not good enough.
But you said he had a lot of help. He really didn't have a lot of featured help on there.
Hold on. Never before in the history of this business has there been an album in hip-hop levels controlled by the machine the way Get Rich or Die Trying was. That's the help I'm talking about.
I can give you one. All Eyes on Me.
No.
And that's not being disrespectful. It's just the truth.
Resources. Hold on. Interscope's Resources, when All Eyes on Me is coming out, isn't like Interscope's Resources.
Are you serious? This is Death Row at the height.
No, it's not.
What you mean?
Not financially.
Come
on.
Resources,
Mike.
You even talking about the last episode where Tupac's talking about they printing money out here at Death Row.
Yeah, they are, and they were printing more at Interscope. 50 got in on the Aftermath. How about this? If you think
Interscope was behind both labels, so are we having a Death Row and Shady conversation?
Let's have a money conversation about 50. Was Eminem involved?
Yeah.
In 50's conversation?
Yeah.
Then he infinitely had more resources than Tupac, and you know that. Am I wrong? Or tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay, I'll concede to that.
He had hold on, and this is Dre. Keep in mind, he had Dr. Dre after Dr. Dre has already made The Chronic, Doggy Style, got credit for All Eyes on Me, got credit for Eminem. Don't act like that's the same thing Tupac walked in. Tupac walked into a gangster party fresh out of jail while Death Row was still built up and on its initial run.
Well, what I'm saying when it comes to the help.
50 walked into the House of Interscope. The House of Interscope is bigger than the House of Death Row.
Well, listen, Death Row coming off of Doggy Style and The Chronic, and you got Dog Pound giving you records.
No,
you got Dr. Dre giving you records. Cool. Let's be real.
You were trying to change your narrative.
No.
You said yourself they needed All Eyes on Me because it had been a minute since Doggy Style and The Chronic came out and Dog Food wasn't hitting like that. Don't change your narrative, Mike. You said that.
No, I said no. I said they needed it. No, the narrative's the same. I said Death Row needed it.
Eminem didn't need Get Rich or Die Trying. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well,
they did not need that shit at all.
My conversation is about the help, right? And so at the end of the day, California Love was given to Pop. That was already Dre's song. America's Most Wanted was given to Pac. That was already Snoop's song. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Got My Mind Made Up. It's given to Pac. That was already Dog Pound's song. They had already recorded Method Man and Redman's parts. So we can't talk about help in that aspect because 50 wasn't given songs in that light. 50 worked with some high-powered individuals and made these songs. I'm talking about the help side of it.
Okay, so hold on. So let's balance it out, and let's say that the help is equal. How you like those results? What's better, All Eyes on Me or Get Rich?
I don't think the help is equal. They actually gave Tupac California Love. They actually gave Tupac singles. The help's not equal. I know y'all want to spin it like that because it's Pac, But no, the help's not equal. Pac was giving songs.
Let me get this straight. 50 Cent gets $1 million from Interscope. He gets full access to Dr. Dre.
He had to make these songs, Coop. He was giving California love. What are you talking about? That's like if Dre made In the Club and gave it to 50.
Hold on. Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
What do you think California Love sounds like without Tupac's verse?
I've heard it. It doesn't sound the same. But again, he was giving California Love. He's still Tupac. He can go on there and do his thing. 50 made these songs from nothing. They didn't have it.
And I'm giving 50 credit for making those songs from nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying resourcefully, what he was given was something different. And you can equate it out to the same. But even if you feel like Pac had more help, Mike, I know in clear conscience, you're not about to sit up here and compare 50 songwriting to Pac's. Like, you're not about to.
I'm not. That's not what I'm talking about. Again, y'all talk about the help. Somebody made the comment that 50 had more help than anybody on an album, and I'm like, literally, they gave Tupac great records that already were in existence and belonged to other people, and we're gonna ignore that?
Mike, no rapper had ever been given the budget or the rollout or the fanfare and the stuff that 50 got. You can talk about Pac getting that music all you want. I think, hold on, respectfully, I'm gonna say this respectfully. I think, and because it's kind of funny that we're having this conversation. You're usually the guy that is focused on the bigger picture and gets me to understand the bigger picture. And so I understand what you're saying about the music, but in the bigger picture of things, Mike, I think 50 did have more help in the big picture of how the music business works. And a lot of that has to do with what Tupac did with All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli and what it did for Interscope in the hip-hop sphere.
Oh, no, you're right.
Because here's the thing about it. All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli, well, they aren't gangster rap albums the way The Chronic, Doggy Style, and Dog Food are. So what Pac did is actually why 50 has the resources that I'm talking about.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
Why I think it's comfortable. So Pac might have got songs, but what I'm saying is he got songs because those were the resources to give. 50 got the same love down the road. It's just more like in money.
And Pac earned that too by way of, building his legacy up to that point.
Right. And you want to know what? All jokes aside, like I owe you a little bit of apology because it's like you've been dealing with my attitude today about this 50 shit. I'm not the biggest 50 fan. I'm not.
Tell.
But this is why. It's like, because I be thinking, it's like, man, how we end up, because every time I swear he gets bought up, it's like this Nas, Jay, Pac, Big, and I'm like, he don't belong there. How we get there? And then we end up there and it pisses me off even more.
Jay Short with the super chat says, if 50's that dude, where's his music without Interscope? So y'all gonna get us going for another 3 hours, man. I gotta go.
Okay, we do gotta go, but that's my whole point. Did Pac not have Me Against the World and Strictly for My Niggas long before he went to death row?
He did.
What did 50 shit look like before Interscope? It looked like mixtapes and an album that got shelved because he got shot.
The album that got shelved was actually good. But
no, I all due respect, Mike, if I were to rank Power of the Dollar, I'd probably give it like a 3.5. It's a pretty solid and good project. He can rap on there. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that guess what? Tupac got shot right before Me Against the World, and didn't nobody shelf that because you want to know why? Because Dear Mama's on there.
Well, he wasn't coming out the gate either. It's a whole different situation. But I feel you.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying, but you're talking about they shelved his album because he got shot and they didn't want to get attached to it. I'm like, well, it's funny.
Well, we understand he's not on Pac's level. Like, come on.
No, but what I'm saying is the Interscope was fucking with it because the music was there. They would have held Pac shit off. Pac was going to jail and got shot. Pac was going to jail for rape and literally had just got shot. And Interscope was down. You want to know why Interscope was down? Have you heard Temptations? So Many Tears and Dear Mama? You're fucking right. We roll it. 50 didn't have it like that before Interscope popped up. Is all I'm saying. Pac was like that because Pac's a superior writer and MC.
And Pac built Interscope. I think he was the first artist signed to Interscope, first rap artist.
Bob T and the Truest are saying AZ wrote all of It Was Written as well. We have to go.
All right, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Have a great weekend. Great show.
You kill this.